Chapter 782 Worry. Chapter 782 Worry. As for Su Ping and Sui Wahua, they didn't really care about being city lords. They were pursuants of the extremes of ancient martial arts. So now they were just too shocked at being able to reach great heaven. From what they knew, the entire ancient martial arts scene had no great heaven master. Tan Jiao had gone into hiding after being defeated by Yi Mo, while Rin Pingchuan had been killed by Yi Mo immediately, so no one even knew about him. If Yi Mo could let people reach great heaven so easily, what power level was he himself at? After Sui Wahua and the others left, Yi Zifeng got up and wanted to say something to Yi Mo, but Yi Ling stopped him. She knew what Yi Zifeng was going to say and what Yi Mo was thinking. Dongfang Chong was dead, and what Dongfang Nana had done in Luo inexcusably deserved the death penalty. It wasn't suitable to beg mercy for her. Yi Mo looked at Yi Zifeng and said, "I don't think that you don't know anything about what the Dongfang family has been doing at Luoyu. I think you also know best whether Dongfang Nana really liked you. I want you to be prepared before you go to the martial academy now. Big brother, please let Nana go. She's innocent. She was forced here by the Dongfang family. That Dongfang Tanjin isn't even her real brother either." Yi Zifeng's eyes went red. He knew that his big brother wanted to kill Dongfang Nana. Yi Mo sneered, "Zifeng, you know in your heart how innocent she is. Not only is she not innocent, she deserves to die. You're about to go to the martial academy, but you want to keep her so she can continue betraying Luoyu? Big brother, I want to take Nana and leave Luoyu. Please let her go." Yi Zifeng's tone was bitter. Clearly, Dongfang Nana was of greater importance to him than anything else. Yi Mo sighed. Yi Zifeng wasn't his real brother, but he had never treated him any different. It was impossible to keep Dongfang Nana in Luoyu City, but clearly Yi Zifeng's love for her ran deep, and it would be impossible to make him give up that woman. Yi Mo thought of Luo Ying, Ning Qingxue, and Mu Xiaoyan. It would be impossible for him to give up any of them too. Even if they did something wrong one day, could he kill them himself? Yi Mo knew he couldn't. If he couldn't do that, why force Yi Zifeng to do it? Yi Mo sighed and didn't say anything. But Yi Ling knew that Yi Mo was allowing Yi Zifeng to leave Luoyu, and her heart ached. "Second brother, let's leave now." Yi Ling pulled Yi Zifeng out. Yi Mo knew he could no longer kill that Dongfang Nana. Although he knew she was very fake, love was love. No one could explain it. If it wasn't like that, Yi Zifeng wouldn't have been dumb enough to be used and still be confused after it came out. He hoped that Yi Zifeng would take Dongfang Nana and start up a family by himself instead of going back to the Yi family. It would be no good for her to go to the Yi family. "Master, there will appear a path after arriving at the foot of the mountain. Some things are better left aside," Yu Eru comforted. Yi Mo came back to his senses and smiled. "Eru, you're right. Why think too much? By the way, I called you over to test your spirit root." Then Yemo took out the testing device and said, "Put your hand inside and use some inner chi." Okay. Yu Eru did as he was told, and 3 rays of light soon shone on the device. Earth, wood, and fire? Yi Mo frowned. A triple element spirit root wasn't good, and the testing lights of Yu Eru's spirit roots were pretty dim. "Master, what is an earth, wood, and fire spirit root?" Yu Eru asked. Yi Mo said, "What I cultivate is very complicated. You've followed me for this many years, yet I haven't taught you anything. Herbs are just one of many fields I am proficient in, and I actually don't cultivate ancient martial arts. What I cultivate in is called truth cultivation. It's a very boring thing, but if you cultivate it to the extreme, it is far superior to ancient martial arts. Are you interested in learning it?" Yu Eru immediately said, "Master, I am willing." "Okay," Yi Mo nodded. "Remember, you must not tell anyone what I teach you. I have one other disciple, and although you followed me first, strictly speaking, He's the first disciple I've thought truth cultivation. Master, I don't mind what number disciple I am. I just want to follow Master and learn truth cultivation. But what if Xiaojin sees what I'm cultivating? Yu Arrow asked. Yi Mo smiled. She's your wife, so if she's willing, you can teach her. Just remember to keep it a secret. Now pay attention. What I'll be teaching you is the primordial fortune chant. After Yi Mo finished teaching Yu Arrow, he left him with some pills. Around that time, Yiling came back. Yiling, let Zifeng stay, but don't let him be involved with Luo Yu's matters. Just let him do some business, Yi Mo said. Yiling shook her head. Second brother says he owes you a lot, but he still wants to leave Luo Yu. Yiling suddenly smiled and said, Don't worry about him. He can bring enough money to start a business again. With his wits, they will live a good life if Dongfang Nana wants to live well. And I also think that it's better that he leaves Luo Yu. Yi Mo nodded and cast the matter aside, asking, Do you know where Bei Wei and company went? Yi Ling's eyes went red. They are all capable of cultivating, but I am not. Since they can all fly, they went to look for you and left me alone at Luo Yu. Do you have a way to contact them? Yi Mo asked. Yi Ling shook her head. When they just went out, I could still contact them, but it's been 2 years since I last had contact with them. Do you know where they went then? Yi Mo immediately asked. Yi Ling shook her head. I can only guess. When I was with them before, Sister Luoying said you might have gone to the small world, and Sister Luo Fei knew where the small world was. A while ago, as Luo Fei started becoming more and more disappointed with Luo Yu, she left Luo Yu City and went to find Luo Ying and Qingxue. But I can't reach her by phone anymore either. Not good. Yi Mo suddenly remembered that some people had been trying to go in when he was trying to leave the small world. It must have been them. Chapter 783. Illegitimate Child. Chapter 783. Illegitimate child thinking about that blood-sucking formation. Yi Mo was scared. He had been able to escape it because he knew what to do. But what about Luo Ying and company? But then again, they should be fine, otherwise he wouldn't be seeing just rocks when he first came out. Thinking about that, Yi Mo rejoiced that they were fine. Since they were in the small world, Yi Mo didn't have to worry. Their power should be adequate in the small world. Although that 7-star formation was in a dead state, when his formation skills reached a certain level, he could rebuild it. What's wrong, brother? Yi Ling asked worriedly. Yi Mo waved his hand. It's fine, they went to the small world. After I finish dealing with things outside, I will go in too. Huh, you'll be leaving too, brother? But I dash. Yi Ling almost started crying. If everyone left, she would be really lonely at Luo Yu. Although Yi Ling was in her 30s, Yi Mo still patted her on the head and suddenly asked, Yi Ling, you're this big already. How have you still not found someone you like? Yi Ling's lips went up and said, Brother, I have considered some people, but I can't find someone better than you. So I might as well live by myself. Yi Mo was at a loss for words, but he immediately said, It will be hard to find someone better than me here. Yi Mo was thinking about how to make the 5-essence pill so that she could also have a spirit root. Yi Ling suddenly whispered into Yi Mo's ears and said, How about this, brother? I'll marry you too. We're not blood related anyway, and you have more than one wife already. Yi Mo slapped Yi Ling's head. Stop talking nonsense. Don't worry about not being able to cultivate. I can make it possible for you to start cultivating, but you need to wait a bit. Really? Brother, can I really cultivate? Yi Ling immediately forgot what she said before. Yi Mo nodded. Don't worry, when I'm stronger I can make some pills for you and you will be able to cultivate. But right now I can't make them yet. He needed to be at least stage 9 to make the 5-essence pill. Hearing this, Yi Ling immediately became excited. The thing she desired the most was to be able to cultivate like Bei Wei. By the way, brother, I have something to ask you. Yi Ling's tone suddenly became playful again. What is it? Yi Mo looked at Yi Ling strangely. Yi Ling suddenly smiled and said, Hee hee, did you ever have something with another woman and not take responsibility for her in the end? Yi Mo was dazed and looked at Yi Ling angrily. Yi Ling, what are you saying? Am I that sort of person? Moreover, I wouldn't betray Su and Qingxue dash, but Yi Mo's tone went from high to low saying that, because he suddenly thought of Xiaoyan. But he wasn't irresponsible towards her. Brother, there really was such a thing. Yi Ling looked at Yi Mo in shock. She was just asking before and didn't expect it to be the case. Yi Mo coughed awkwardly. Yes, I still need to find her after dealing with things here. Brother, this is unacceptable. She's already raising a daughter for you. Yet you're still saying things like finding her later? Yi Ling said angrily. When she saw that woman and little girl on Yi Mo's wedding, she didn't mind at first, but after Yi Mo left Luoyu and she talked about it with Beiwei again, they felt like the girl's eyes really looked like Yi Mo's too much. So, they made a bold guess that the girl was Yi Mo's illegitimate child and that pretty young woman was a pitiful woman that Yi Mo had abandoned. Yi Mo looked at her strangely. Yi Ling, what are you on about? Xiaoyan was never pregnant. How can she have a daughter? Did we get it wrong? Yi Ling wondered. Get what wrong? Yi Mo asked. Yi Ling said awkwardly. On your wedding, Beiwei and I saw a woman carrying a little girl in Luoyu. The woman was very pretty, and the girl's eyes looked just like yours. I remember I gave her a bracelet too. Yi Mo was speechless. There were too many similarly looking people. So thinking it was his daughter just based on their eyes was too far-fetched, wasn't it? Never mind. Let's go to Luoyu Lake to have a look. Who's living there now? Yi Mo asked. Ever since everyone left, it has just been me living there by myself, Yi Ling said. Before Yi Mo got to Luoyu Lake, a huge bird flew over. Qingxue didn't take Silver with her? Yi Mo asked. No, they were planning on coming back quickly. So Silver has been staying with me. Yi Ling hugged Silver. By the way, brother, 5 years ago, Sister Jingwen and a girl called Qi Wanqing came looking for you. But you never came back, so after staying for a while, they left Luoyu. Yi Ling suddenly remembered Su Jingwen. Yi Ling knew what Su Jingwen's feelings were and felt bad for her. Yi Mo also felt guilty, but he couldn't stop these things. 3 women were already enough for him. Where did they go? Did they just stay for a short while? Yi Mo suddenly felt he should go visit them. Jingwen should be married after all these years. Yi Ling hesitated before replying. I don't know where Sister Jingwen went either, but she had been living at Ninghai. Last time she came, Sister Luoying taught her cultivation, and both of them were fit for cultivation. They stayed at Luoyu for half a month before leaving. Yi Ling, stay at Luoyu and help City Lord Huang deal with Luoyu's matters. I need to go out for a bit. After I come back, I will make the 5 essence pill for you. Yi Mo knew that Dongfang Wang couldn't cause too much trouble now, but he wouldn't feel comfortable without killing him. Yi Ling nodded, and then her phone sounded. Yes, Sister Yuehua. It's for you, brother. Yi Ling gave the phone to Yi Mo. President, this morning a cruiser was bombed on the Pacific. It left Luoyu half a month ago and had a U.S. ambassador on board. It has been found that the bombs contained radioactive substances. Now, the U.S. is contacting us to deal with the matter, Su Yuehua reported. Chapter 784, Return to Ninghai. Chapter 784. Return to Ninghai. Hearing this news, Yi Mo immediately knew what had happened. Dongfang Wang had said there were 60 bombs, but Yi Mo had never found the last one. It seemed it had somehow been taken along by Luoyu's ship. Moreover, this bomb hit the U.S. ambassador, which indicated that Dongfang Wang wanted to instigate a conflict between Luoyu and the U.S. again so that he could gain benefit from it. However, this meant that the bomb must have been left at the embassy to begin with. How had it gotten on the boat then? So either the ambassador didn't know, or perhaps his staff wanted to take something else but accidentally took the bomb. What would they try to take from Luoyu? There couldn't be anything other than technological secrets. Yi Mo immediately said to Suyuahua, "Check all recent border controls and check who signed the ship out. And also investigate every one of Luoyu's military science research base. All those who leak Luoyu's military secrets should be dealt with according to military law. Those who have been in close contact with the U.S. Embassy staff also need to be heavily investigated." Then Yi Mo continued, "We should contact the U.S. regarding this immediately and also convey what Northern Sand has been doing to the Union. If the Union agrees, we can attack Northern Sand. If they don't want to be involved, we can pretend nothing happened. Also, make the decisions yourselves. Don't contact me unless Luoyu is about to fall." Yi Mo left Luoyu Lake and went to visit Ning Qingshue's parents. They seemed to have formed a new pharmaceutical company in Luoyu and were doing quite well. Lan Yu knew that Ning Qingxue was cultivating something very powerful with Yi Mo, so she wasn't too worried about not being able to see her. After Yi Mo visited them, he went to visit Yin Si and Yin Jia. They also had their own business in Luoyu and were doing well. They were both married and had kids. Yi Mo knew from them that their auntie came to Luoyu 4 years ago and stayed at their place for a few days before leaving Luoyu. Thinking about Yin Qinyan, Yi Mo remembered her diary, but he didn't take it out and read it. After seeing her on the cruise, it wasn't hard for him to guess the content. Yi Mo walked on the busy Luoyu streets and felt empty. And family antiques, these words appeared before Yi Mo. He scanned his spirit sense in and saw in Zaishan. He didn't expect him to have moved over to Luoyu City and started a shop here. He then immediately remembered Njichi and that Dong Fangwang who thought of her as his personal possession. Yi Mo walked in but didn't see Njichi. "It's you're Yi Mo." AI Zaishan was old but recognized Yi Mo immediately. Yi Mo smiled and saluted with his fist. "And Qianbei, long time no see. Please have a seat." And Zaishan quickly invited Yi Mo in and let a waiter bring Yi Mo a cup of tea. Yi Mo scanned the antique shop. There were a few good magic artifacts in it. It seemed he had opened a shop there not for the money, but out of his interests. "How come I don't see Njichi anywhere?" Yi Mo asked casually, and Zaishan sighed. When the Dongfang family came to Luoyu, they ruined Luoyu and made it chaotic. There were people here for her every day, and she got very annoyed, so she went out touring on her own. Yi Mo immediately knew why. Dongfang Wang must not have wanted to give up on her, and kept sending people over. "Does that mean you're just living here by yourself, Qianbei?" Yi Mo asked, and Zaishan shook his head. "No, my great-granddaughter is doing some business here, and is a small official, so she comes over often." And Ning, Yi Mo immediately remembered her. The 2 fish eyes of the yin-yang fish were from her. Clearly, and Zaishan also remembered this matter, and immediately asked, "City Lord Yi, do you still remember the yin-yang fish pieces and the jade I left you?" "Of course, thank you, in Qianbei." That jade had the words 7 pieces of trigrams. Fish jump through the dragon gate on it. "Also, just call me Yi Mo now, not City Lord." "I'm not the City Lord," Yi Mo smiled. "Okay." And Zaishan didn't remain too formal. "I'll call you Brother Yi then." "I'm sure you haven't found the 2 fish tails yet, right?" Yi Mo nodded. "Indeed, I didn't have the time to look for it yet. And I don't have a lead either." And Zaishan smiled. "You don't need to look for it. The 2 fish tails appeared in an auction in Beijing, and I heard it was actually bought by your father-in-law's father, Ning Fuzhen. If you want it, you need to go to the Ning family." Ning Fuzhen? That was Ning Qingshue's grandpa. Yi Mo didn't have good impressions of the people in the Ning family other than Ning Qingxue and her parents. It would be hard for him to go up to them and ask. If it was before he went to the small world, he would go no matter what. It was some fortune after all, but now, Yi Mo didn't really care too much. And Zaishan said, "If possible, I recommend you go." It's no ordinary thing after all. Yi Emo sighed and nodded. Soon after he went back home, Yi Emo left the city after telling Yiling. He wanted to finish things over here and make the 5 essence pill quick so that Yiling could also start cultivating. He had an important idea. He would find Luo Ing and company in the small world and build a place for them to live at in Wu-Wen Mountain. In the depth of the Wu-Wen Mountain, there was an abundance of spirit herbs and qi. It was much more effective to cultivate there. After leaving Luoyu, Yi Emo controlled his flying sword and flew slowly to Ninghai. He soon felt Ninghai had changed a lot. Most evident was the increase of skyscrapers and decrease of greenland. The traffic was also very busy. Yi Emo frowned. He needed to remind Huang Yinian not to let Luoyu become like this too. Yi Emo landed with Ninghai University in front of him. He suddenly really wanted to go see Yunbing. Yi Emo expanded his spirit sense, but didn't see Yunbing or Ting Ting. However, his spirit sense stopped on a girl in front of the high school nearby. She was really pretty. Her face was exquisite like an angel's, and even though her clothes were tattered, that still couldn't cover her glamour. The reason why Yi Emo took notice of her was because she had a bracelet that Yi Emo had made on her. Chapter 785, Daughter Yimo. Chapter 785, Daughter Yimo. Furthermore, he felt this strange sense of joy upon seeing her. However, she was surrounded by a few students, and they seemed to be looking for trouble with her. Yimo's heart shook, and the next moment, he was already at the door of this high school. Move aside! The pretty girl's voice was energetic, but clearly angry. We can't beat you, but do you dare not do as Dihua says? It's his birthday today. If you go there, you will be our big sister and have a spot in this year's national math competition. But if you don't go, we won't stop you, but you know the consequences. One chubby girl threatened. Yeah. What's wrong with being Dihua's girlfriend, Yimo? We would like to, yet can't, another girl said. Yimo, the same name as him? Yi Emo suddenly shook while studying this girl. She had the exact same eyes as him. He remembered what Yi Ling said before. Was this the girl that was at his wedding? No wonder Yi Ling would think she was his daughter. Even he felt like she was related to him. But Yi Emo knew it was impossible. He only had 3 women, and none of them had been pregnant. Suddenly, Yimo's heart shook once again. He remembered Song Yangzhu. That woman was his first woman. Could it be her? No way, that was just once. But Yi Emo couldn't stay calm anymore. Things really seemed to be like that. If this girl was really Song Yangzhu's daughter, then it must be his too. He remembered that he seemed to have heard a girl cry, and his heart ached that time at his wedding. Then he had seen a figure hurriedly take a girl away. That figure, wasn't that Song Yangzhu? If it really was, then how must she have felt at the time? She was carrying his daughter and was forced to watch his wedding. That was too cruel for her. A black BMW stopped at the door of the school, and a youth who appeared to be 15 but was already nearly 5'6", 1m70, walked off. He looked at those girls who had stopped Yimo and said, Who let you be so rude to Yimo? Move aside. Yimo, it's my birthday today. If you're willing, come over, please. If not, I understand. The youth spoke politely to the pretty girl. The girl didn't speak. She knew that it wouldn't be good no matter if she rejected or agreed. Yi Emo looked at this averagely dressed girl and suddenly felt bitter inside and a deep sense of guilt. He suddenly felt that he owed Song Yangzhu a lot. He had never thought of her again after taking her virginity. Yi Emo walked over and threw the youth far away into a trash can in the street. Then he looked at the excited girl and asked, What's your name? The girl looked at Yi Emo in shock. If Yi Emo could casually throw Difan out, he was definitely a master. She had heard her mother talk about ancient martial arts. Perhaps this guy was even at the yellow level. Although she knew about ancient martial arts, she had never cultivated them. Her mother said it was very costly and they didn't have a lot of money. Usually, she would reject strangers who tried to talk to her. but towards this big brother-like stranger, she felt a sense of closeness. It was as though she had long since known this big brother, and he also helped her kick away Dihua. But the next moment, she pushed Yi-Mo worriedly. "You should leave quickly. Dihua's bodyguard is very strong." "Leave? You want to leave after hitting young Master D?" A bulky man got out of the BMW. Seeing this, the girl got all the more worried. Meanwhile, Yi-Mo saw that his was a guy who wasn't even yellow level yet. Before this bodyguard could attack, he sent out a kick, using a little more force than before. This guy couldn't even defend himself and crashed into the young Master D, who had just crawled up. Huh. This girl stared at what was happening in shock. "Big brother, you're really strong." Yi-Mo waved his hand. "I'm much older than you. Call me uncle. What's your name?" Yi-Mo thought, if she were Song Yangju's daughter, who should be at the black level, there is no way she wouldn't know how strong Song Yangju is. Had he guessed wrong? "I'm Yi-Mo." As the girl said this, Yi-Mo was dumbfounded. His hands started shaking. Her surname was Yi? Yi-Mo? Yi-Mo looked at Yi-Mo's shaking and suddenly asked, "Uncle, are you okay? Shouldn't you leave quickly? When the police come, you won't be able to get away. The D family are very aggressive. If they want you to go to jail, you will dash. Is your mother called Song Yangju?" Yi-Mo reacted and grabbed Yi-Mo's hands as he asked shakily. Yi-Mo pulled her hands away and said in anger, "Uncle, what are you doing? And how do you know my mother is called Song Yangju?" Yi-Mo looked at his daughter, who had patches on her shoe, and suddenly felt tears welling up. Song Yangju had given birth to his daughter, yet he had never even bothered trying to find her. Although Song Yangju was an ancient martial artist, she had never acquired the necessary skills to survive in everyday life. He could tell from Yi-Mo that they weren't doing too well. Those who didn't keep cultivating ancient martial arts would regress in power. Perhaps she was a yellow level now. As for why she had come to Ninghai, Yi-Mo could tell from his daughter's name. She knew that he had lived at Ninghai before, so she also came here. She no longer had any hatred for him. If she did, she wouldn't call her daughter Yi-Mo or have come to Ninghai. TL note: Yi-Mo in this context means in remembrance of Mo. Yi-Mo felt a strong sense of intimacy from Yi-Mo, and she even noticed the tears in the corner of Yi-Mo's eyes. She just wanted to ask something when Yi-Mo grabbed her hand again and said in self-reproach, "I am so sorry, Yi-Mo. My name is Yi-Mo. Perhaps your mother hasn't told you, but Yi-Mo, you're my dad." Yi-Mo suddenly went into Yi-Mo's arms and started crying, while thinking, Mom was right. Dad went out, but he would be back, and now he really is. From now on, she would be someone with a dad too. No one would be able to call her an illegitimate child anymore. She had heard Yi-Mo's name countless times. Every time her mother told her about her father, she would only say her dad was very strong and that he took her mother to the Nei snow mountains. Nothing else. "Yes, I'm your dad." Yi-Mo hugged Yi-Mo and murmured. He couldn't explain what he felt at that moment. Joy, self-hate, anxiety, excitement, etc. Luckily, he had come to Ninghai this time, or perhaps he would never know he had a daughter. For the first time, he felt this feeling of an extension of his life, his daughter. The police cars had surrounded Yi-Mo by then, yet the two were too immersed in the joy of their reunion that they didn't even notice. "Cousin Dizzy, are you okay?" a young woman's voice sounded. Yi-Mo saw a girl younger than 30 quickly walk towards Dihua. Dihua was helped up by the police, and that bodyguard was taken on the ambulance. "Sister Kai, that person is too aggressive. He stole my girlfriend and beat me." Dihua cursed at Yi-Mo. "You beat him." This Sister Kai looked at Yi-Mo coldly. Chapter 786, The Only Thing. Chapter 786. The only thing Yi-Mo smiled and could tell that this woman was no ordinary person. At the very least, she was an ancient martial arts cultivator, and she was at the yellow level primary stage. The police were about to attack Yi-Mo when the woman waved her hands to stop them, as though waiting for Yi Emo to reply. Yes, I did. But to me, this isn't a beating, because if I actually beat them, they would only be exhaling now and not inhaling anymore, Yi Emo said in contempt. The woman frowned as her eyes sharpened. Aren't you very cocky? Yi Emo smiled casually. If you want to fight without asking why, I will be more cocky than you can imagine. Yi Emo was ready to fight the woman, because he knew that those who cultivated ancient martial arts followed the law of the jungle and liked to talk with their fists more than him. However, this woman didn't attack and frowned upon seeing how fearless Yi Emo was. She turned to the young man and asked, DZ, is she the one you want to be your girlfriend? She pointed at Yi Emo, who was still in Yi Emo's arms. Yes, Sister Kai, I really like her. I want to take her home. She's really pretty. I must have her. I promise to have her as my sole girlfriend. I can give up on my current one. Di Hua said desperately. To him, as long as Sister Kai was here, everything should be easy. The woman looked at Yi Emo and her face eased a bit. She looked at Yi Emo and said, Who are you to this girl? Although DZ is only in year 12, he really likes this girl. This is their fortune, and DZ would not mistreat her. I think Dash, piss off. Yi Emo yelled coldly and slapped out twice. Yi Emo slapped that kid Di Hua flying, and before he even landed, his teeth landed first. There were 2 slap marks on his face, with blood seeping where the palm prints were. Even his ears started to bleed. Yi Emo said coldly, That pig of yours does not deserve to associate with my Yi Emo. Yi Emo was really furious. Yi Emo was his daughter, and she was only about 13 now. Yet this bastard wanted her to be his girlfriend and take her home. Yi Emo really wanted to kill them right away, but he couldn't kill right now. If he did, then the news of Luoyu cities, Yi Emo killing someone would be broadcasted all over the world. And even if he could mask his face completely, he didn't want to kill in front of his daughter right after reuniting with her. If he hadn't come to Ninghai and found her, his daughter wouldn't have been able to escape and would fall into that kid's hands eventually. That youth was clearly not a good guy, and their family was apparently quite powerful too. Song Yangzhu and Yi Emo would never be able to beat them. You. Sister Kai pointed at Yi Emo, shaking with anger. You're a mere yellow level, primary stage. Stop making a fool of yourself in front of me. I should be the one looking for trouble with you, and the only reason why I'm not is because I'm not in the mood for it. But if you ruin my good mood, I will come look for trouble, and you'll regret it then. The woman stopped her urge to attack. She suddenly had a bad feeling. Yi Emo really wasn't in the mood for these meaningless matters. He had just reunited with his daughter. By the time the police reacted, they found that Yi Emo had already left. They felt like Yi Emo had walked away slowly, yet he had already gone so far in one go. The police looked at Sister Kai, waiting for her order to capture Yi Emo. The woman opened her mouth, but by the time she came to her senses, Yi Emo was gone. She knew she had met a master today. You guys go back for now. She knew the police couldn't deal with people like that. She had to get revenge, but it wouldn't involve the police. This person was very strong, but if the Bao Shi Hull of Ninghai could be so easily abused, then they wouldn't have the status they had or be able to dominate Ninghai like they did. After the police left, the woman turned to check out Di Hua's wounds, but she suddenly felt her feet seemed to be lighter than usual. She then noticed that the bottom of her shoes had been sliced off, including the socks. If the slice had happened a little higher, she would have lost a layer of flesh. Seeing this, her heart finally beat rapidly. That man sliced off her shoes without her even knowing? If he was going to slice off her legs, wouldn't she be clueless as well? There was someone this powerful in Ninghai. Who was he? Thinking about this, she quickly called a few people to send Di Hua to the hospital, while she left quickly. Perhaps the Bao Shi Hull would disappear the very next moment after offending someone like this. She was sure that Yi Emo had shown her mercy, but that was perhaps so that he could go annihilate the Bao Shi Hull later. The woman had actually guessed right. Yi Emo did intend to kill Dihua later, but clearly he didn't have the time now. Yimo's body was in the middle of that crucial stage of development, yet her nutrition wasn't good. It was very important to help her treat her body first. Is your mother fine? Yi Emo could tell Song Yangju wasn't doing very well from Yimo, but he still asked. He didn't have much feelings for Song Yangju, but when this daughter appeared in front of him, he could only feel guilt for Song Yangju. Her body isn't too well, so I was planning on going back. Yimo wiped her eyes. She felt like she was dreaming. Although she had never seen her dad before, now that she did, it seemed like she had met him countless times in her dreams. Mom had told her that Dad would come look for them, so this was the moment she had always been dreaming of. The moment Yi Emo said his name, she felt it to be the most natural thing in the world that Yi Emo was her dad. The only odd thing was that her dad seemed pretty young. Yi Emo felt even more guilty hearing about Song Yangju. Yimo clasped Yi Mo's shoulders tightly, fearing that her dad would disappear as soon as she let go. After calming down, she said carefully, "Mother spent all her savings so that I could go to the best school in Ninghai. When she became sick, she didn't want to spend money on it either and dragged it on. Now, her body has started getting worse and worse." Yi Emo frowned. He had given her a luminous pearl. Even if she didn't have any life skills, she could still sell that and live a wealthy life. "Did your mother ever say she had anything valuable to sell?" Yi Emo asked. Yimo nodded. "She has a very pretty pearl, and Mother told me it could be sold for a lot of money, but that was the only thing Dad left behind, so she didn't want to sell it." I agreed with her. "Dad, you left that luminous pearl for Mother and me, right?" Chapter 787, Song Yangju's Pride. Chapter 787. Song Yangju's pride. Yi Emo thought Song Yangju would be renting something not too far from the school, but when the driver drove them all the way to the suburban areas, Yi Emo realized how far his daughter had to go to school. It was understandable when you thought about it, though. With Song Yangju's financial status, she wouldn't be able to afford houses in the city. He didn't even dare to look for Song Yangju with his spirit sense, and he didn't know what she would be like right now. After getting off the car, Yimo pulled Yi Emo to a civilian house. Yi Emo was dumbfounded. A woman with white hair was struggling to pull a bucket of water, and as she wanted to bring it to the stove, her footsteps showed that she didn't have the strength for it, and water kept splashing out. Was this Song Yangju, that cold-faced, beautiful woman? Yi Emo felt unimaginable regret. If he didn't recognize that prideful temperament and that barely familiar face, Yi Emo would doubt if this woman was really the same Song Yangju he knew. That black level woman was now not even at the yellow level, and even had internal injuries. That beautiful genius was now white-haired and had hands full of calluses with internal injuries on them as well. But she was only in her 30s. The reason why she turned into this was all because she had to raise his daughter Yimo. Yi Emo also knew that she might be like this out of guilt too. She gave birth to a daughter for the enemy of her family. Even though she knew that the Song family had long since forgotten all about her, she still hid here, tormenting her wounds. Perhaps she wanted to die when she left Luoyu, but the only thing she couldn't leave behind was her daughter Yimo. "Mom!" Yimo called out and shook Song Yangju. She looked up in joy and then saw Yimo's face. Splash! The wooden bucket fell on the floor. She was stunned. The figure in front of her was suddenly becoming more and more blurry. Yi Emo holding Yimo's hands. She had envisioned this scene countless times in her dreams, but now it actually happened. "Sorry, Yangju. I came 13 years late," Yimo's voice sounded. Song Yangju felt her eyes getting blurrier. She opened her mouth but couldn't say anything. This time it wasn't a dream. Yi Emo really came. She breathed easy. Yimo finally found her dad. She could rest assured now. She had always told Yimo about her dad and told her that he would appear one day just for this day. She had left a deep impression of Yi Emo in her heart. Now it seemed like her efforts were not in vain. Yimo looked close to her dad, like she had always been with him. Song Yangju's lips shivered, but she didn't say anything. "Mom, what's wrong?" "Dad is back." Yimo noticed that her mom didn't seem to be acting right. Song Yangju smiled and returned to a normal look. "Yimo, you need to listen to your dad from now on." Then Song Yangju said shakily to Yimo, "Water splashed on me. I'm going to change." "Dad, Mom is Dash," her mother always told her about her dad, but now that her dad was back, why was it that she didn't have much to say? She wasn't as excited as she would have imagined. In her heart, her parents' relationship was very good. So how come that didn't seem to be the case? Yi Emo looked guiltily as she walked into the room and closed the door. When she started taking off her clothes, Yi Emo retrieved his spirit sense. "Dad, I'm going to cook and I'll clean the kitchen." She said this so that her parents could have some alone time. Yi Emo knew what his daughter was thinking. He ruffled her hair and said softly, "Okay." Song Yangju put on the clothes she used to wear in the past and looked at herself in the mirror. After a long while, she said, "You still look the same as before, but I am old. Now that Yimo found you, I can rest easy." Then she took out a dagger, rubbed her eyes in the mirror, and stabbed the dagger at her throat without hesitation. She was a prideful woman. She didn't want her man to see her like this. She knew he had 2 goddess-like wives, and also knew that he didn't love her. Her pride wouldn't allow her to expose herself like this to his other wives. Her pride didn't want to make things hard for him. She was Song Yangju. She was also a prideful and beautiful woman. At least, she was still a prideful woman. Time could rob her of her youth, but it couldn't take away her inner pride. She didn't need love or pity. Now that Yimo had found a new home, she no longer had any attachments. However, the dagger didn't pierce into her throat. A hand was grabbing the dagger. Blood spilled from the dagger, as Yimo didn't use chi to stop himself from being injured. He felt like he owed Song Yangju, and it was right that he bled for her. "Yangju, you're being stupid. Since we've met again, this is a matter of fate. Why do this?" Yimo's tone was sunken. He felt very bad. He knew what she was thinking, but didn't know how to comfort her. He could easily recover her looks, but the decade of trauma wasn't so easily made up for. What happened to your hand?" Song Yangju quickly grabbed Yimo's hand. She forgot about her pride and just wanted to quickly find something to bandage it. At that moment, she forgot how strong Yimo was. How could that small wound affect him? Yimo used his chi and the wound soon healed. He took Song Yangju into his arms and started caressing her white hair. Song Yangju's body stiffened. An inexpressible sadness rose from her heart. For all these years, the only kin she had was Yimo. All these years, she didn't have a home, and she had thought countless times of leaning in Yimo's arms. Today it happened. She cried at that moment. She felt like a weak child. The senseless feeling she had felt when she hurriedly took Yimo away from his wedding, and all the suffering she had gone through, seemed to have melted as soon as Yimo came back. She had never loved before, and she didn't know if this was love, but ever since he pushed her out of that exploding tomb, she remembered him forever. She still remembered that when she heard Yimo was fine, she rejoiced from the bottom of her heart. "Yimo, I don't deserve you. I'm old," Song Yangju said. She didn't actually want to leave her daughter or Yimo, though. "You're not old," Yimo spoke softly. Chapter 788, Yimo's Killing Intent. Chapter 788. Yimo's killing intent when those young masters of the Song family fell in Ninghai and lost their lives. Ninghai became quiet. Even the mobsters didn't dare to be cocky, because they knew there was a Yimo in Ninghai. However, this situation was broken 8 years ago. 8 years ago, the mafia mongrel Dongbing returned from Italy and set up the Baoshi Hall. Ever since then, the area was under the reign of the Baoshi Hall. The hall wasn't only in Ninghai. It was a famous European corporation. The Baoshi Hall in Ninghai was involved in a wide range of dealings. They would meddle in whatever could earn them money. Today was a celebrational day for them, as it was the big boss's only son, Di Hua's birthday. A second reason was that Di Caifeng's master would be coming to Ninghai that night. Di Caifeng's master was no ordinary person. What Di Dongbing was most satisfied about was not spreading his corporation all over the world, but knowing Di Caifeng's master. This master also said that he might take Di Hua in as his disciple. At this moment, a hurried footstep broke his train of thought, and Di Dongbing frowned. Already back when he was still in Italy, he had told his men more than once to always stay calm and not be in a rush. "What is it, Li Ping?" Di Dongbing asked with a frown. Lu Lipin was his most useful man in Ninghai, and he was quite vigilant while being strong and loyal at the same time. That was why he kept Lu Lipin by his side. Lu Lipin shouldn't be this hasty normally. Lu Lipin's face was very excited. He saw his boss's tone and knew that he was acting too excited, though, so he quickly calmed down and said, "Big brother, didn't you say before that master was going to come, but we didn't have a present? Today, I heard about a very precious gift." Even Di Dongbing got a little excited now and quickly asked, "What is it?" "A luminous pearl." Lu Lipin said excitedly, "What, a luminous pearl?" Di Dongbing shot straight up. That was something legendary he had heard about a long time ago already. He saw one in an auction more than 10 years earlier at Paris. That pearl came from China, and it was sold for $500 million US. He still remembered the soft light it emitted in the dark. What present could be more precious than a luminous pearl? If it really was that, he wondered if he would even be willing to give it away. But thinking about who that master was, he immediately knew that he would get more if he gave it as a gift to that person. Yes, a luminous pearl. Lu Lipin said in reassurance, "Where is it? Get it immediately, and use all means necessary." Di Dongbing ordered. "Big brother, we don't even need to spend money on it. We saw it on an ordinary woman. Her husband just came back today. He found it randomly and left it with her. This family is very ordinary, so if we want it, we only have to dash." Lu Lipin made a slicing motion across his throat. Di Dongbing frowned. With his many years of mafia experience, he felt that people who had something like the luminous pearl shouldn't be ordinary. "Where did you get this information?" Di Dongbing returned to his calm tone. Lu Lipin said, "I got it from a taxi driver. He took 2 passengers today, a father and daughter, and the daughter said her mother had a luminous pearl but wasn't willing to sell it. From their conversation, the driver inferred the man had given it to his wife." "Are you sure that's true?" Di Dongbing asked in excitement. Lu Lipin nodded. Yes, from what the girl said. She knew that they could sell it for a lot of money, though. And she also confirmed with the man whether he had given it to her mother. "Okay, then." Di Dongbing yelled in joy and said, "Bring it immediately. Since they know it's a luminous pearl, they won't sell it easily. Do things clean and don't cause trouble." "Yes, big brother, don't worry. They're just ordinary people. Even if they're public figures, we can do it cleanly," Lu Lipin affirmed. Yi Yimo was cleaning the kitchen and remembered that her parents were still inside. She secretly went by the door and saw her mom in her dad's arms and quietly closed the door before going to cook. She was really happy. It was said that kids from poor families matured early. Although she was just in 7th grade, she understood very clearly how tough her mother had it. Yi Emo knew that Yimo had come take a peek, so he patted Song Yangju's shoulders and said, "Yangju, let's go out and eat. Yimo is cooking, but I'll tell her to stop. We will go out to eat tonight. I have a surprise for you at night. You and Yimo can live with me from now on, so don't think too much. I will give back what you have lost these years." Song Yangju didn't really know what that meant, but her face went red thinking about the surprise at night. "Yimo, stop cooking. We'll go out to eat tonight." Yi Emo brought Song Yangju out and felt a sense of satisfaction seeing his daughter. "Really? Yimo looked surprised and joyful. She remembered the delicious smells of the dishes she smelled every time she walked past restaurants, and now her dad was going to take her out to eat. Yimo pulled Yimo lovingly into his arms again. When they were both in his arms, Yimo thought that happiness could be so simple. "Dad, I'm going to change into a pretty set of clothes then." Yimo saw that her mother had changed clothes and said. Yimo rubbed her head and smiled. "No need. I'll take you to buy the best-looking clothes in Dash." Suddenly Yimo stopped. His spirit sense scanned a van driving over. The reason why Yimo took notice of it was because he knew one person in the van. It was their taxi driver. He was clearly showing the others the way, and it was toward Song Yongju's house. Yimo also saw 3 men with guns in the van. Why were they bringing so many people with weapons there? Did that woman call for them? He hadn't had time to look for her yet she came to him? But soon, Yimo realized it probably wasn't her. There wasn't even a yellow level aboard the car. She would never let ordinary people take him on. Soon, Yimo realized what the problem was from their conversation. The driver had overheard them talk about the luminous pearl, and so they brought these people to rob the luminous pearl. Thinking about this, Yimo's killing intent rose. Luckily, Yimo had spoken about it in front of him. If it had gotten leaked before today, they wouldn't even be alive, and Yimo would never even know he had a daughter. "Yongju, pack your things with Yimo, actually. I'm going out for a moment, but after that we can leave, and when we do, we don't need to come back here anymore." Yimo patted Song Yongju and left. Chapter 789. I also want to cultivate. Chapter 789. I also want to cultivate. Someone's blocking the road. The driver suddenly slammed the brakes as he informed Lu Lipin. Before Lu Lipin could say anything, that taxi driver leading the way said, "That's the man I was talking about." Lu Lipin heard this, and his heart skipped a beat. In that instance, he had a bad feeling. This person didn't look like an ordinary person no matter what. He actually seemed to know their purpose and must have stopped their van on the way because of it. Before Lu Lipin could say anything, Yimo already opened the door. No one knew how he opened the door, but the 4 people aboard looked at Yimo in a daze. It seemed like they weren't the robbers, but this guy who went on their van without their approval was the robber. "You guys probably want this, right? Drive the car to the side of the road," Yimo said after taking out the luminous pearl. A faint luminosity spread out in the van, giving everyone a soft feeling. "Luminous pearl!" Lu Lipin called out in joy. No matter what, this luminous pearl was real. The next moment he wanted to rob it, but he immediately stopped himself. "Drive the car to the side of the road." Lu Lipin pointed at a distant corner and said. Lu Lipin's words made the rest of the men subconsciously clutch their weapons. Although they didn't know why Yimo brought the luminous pearl in the car like that, it was a fact that the luminous pearl was about to be the Baoshi Hall's. Yimo put the luminous pearl away. Soon, the car stopped at the corner. Lu Lipin just wanted to take out his gun when he saw a few red lights flash by him, and the other 3 couldn't even take out their guns before they were surrounded by balls of fire and died. By the time Lu Lipin processed what had happened, he saw Yimo looking at him with a scornful smile. Those men who had been alive just moments earlier eventually disappeared into dust. They couldn't even scream. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he would never believe such a spiritual incident. Lu Lipin couldn't stop shivering. He had experienced bloody battles, but never had he witnessed a scene as shocking as this. "Where are they?" Lu Lipin subconsciously asked and then immediately felt that he sure was dumb. "Was it your idea to take my luminous pearl, or is there someone behind you?" Yimo asked. If it wasn't because he wanted to ask this, Lu Lipin would be dead already as well. Lu Lipin's teeth chattered. He didn't even dare to lie and answered. "It was my big brother, Bao Shihal's Di Dongbing." Di Dongbing? Yimo didn't know this guy, and he didn't want to know. Right now, what mattered wasn't to go look for trouble with that man, but to go eat with Yimo and Yangzhu. He casually threw a fireball at Lu Lipin and left the van. Song Yangzhu and Yimo barely had any belongings. There were mostly daily items and Yimo's books. "Dad, there's a lot of things here. Should I call for a car?" Yimo asked. "No need." Yimo casually took everything into his ring. Since he was planning to take them away, he didn't want to keep hiding from them that he was a cultivator. Both Yimo and Song Yangzhu looked at Yimo in shock. "Where did all those things go?" "Dad, do you know how to play magic tricks?" Yimo asked after a long while. Yimo then pulled their hands and sat down, telling them all about his cultivation. "Dad, can you really fly?" Yimo grabbed Yimo's hands as she kept asking questions. Yimo smiled and grabbed the two in his arms before taking out his flying sword. The flying sword had a purple ray on it, and they quickly shot into the clouds. Yimo was waving her hands about, unable to say a complete sentence, while Song Yangzhu was completely frozen. She knew Yimo was no ordinary person, but she didn't expect him to be able to fly. If all these events weren't so real and right in front of her, she would think she was dreaming. "Dad, is this the cultivation you were talking about? I also want to cultivate." Yimo hugged Yimo's arms excitedly. Di Dongbing's joyful mood was interrupted once again, and he got up in annoyance. If his loyal man wasn't getting the luminous pearl, perhaps he would start raging already. This was the second time today his good mood was ruined by the sound of desperate footsteps. But after seeing the person, Di Dongbing immediately didn't feel angry anymore and sat down again, changing his expression into a placid facade. It was his niece, Di Kaifeng. Although she was his niece, she was extraordinary, and her status wouldn't be any lower than his at the moment. Perhaps it was even higher thanks to her master. "Kaifeng, why did you come in such a rush? Didn't your master say he would be coming at night? Come, have a cup of tea." Di Dongbing smiled and poured her some tea. Di Kaifeng just sat straight down and said with a serious face, "Uncle Bing, today Cousin Di Hua was beaten heavily and he's in the hospital right now." The doctor said he might lose his hearing. His face was also ruined and he lost all his teeth. "What?" Di Dongbing could no longer stay calm and got up drastically. His only son was beaten up so severely? Di Dongbing's face became cruel. Who was it? Who dared do such a thing? Who did it? Where is he? Di Dongbing asked with a green face. He believed that since his niece came, it meant that the culprit was under control. In Ninghai, it was just a matter of one order and he could catch anyone. However, Di Kaifeng replied seriously, "Uncle Bing, sit down first. This matter isn't that simple. I was there at the time, and I felt the power difference between us was too great, so I didn't dare to attack. But I know this thing isn't over, and I don't mean that we should be going to find him, but that he might come for us." Chapter 790. Bait. Chapter 790. Bait might dare to come for me before I get to him. After a long while, Di Dongbing asked to be sure. Di Kaifeng nodded. "It's not whether he dares or not. He will come for sure. The only reason why he didn't talk too much with me before was probably because he had only just found his daughter." Di Dongbing's face sunk. He knew his niece's power. Someone whom she can't even beat was definitely strong. It was a joke to try to capture someone like that through police. How old is he? Even you're no match for him. Is he at the yellow level tertiary stage? Di Dongbing had to know what sort of opponent he was facing. Di Kaifeng replied, "He looks like he's in his 20s, but he sliced the bottom of my shoes without me noticing at all. I'm sure that if he wanted to slice my legs off, I wouldn't be able to keep my legs. He's definitely not just at the yellow level. He's at least at the black level." "That's strong." Di Dongbing's heart was getting cold. It was no joke to offend a black level master. His Bao Shi Hall wasn't small and might be the overlord here, but any black level could easily annihilate the hull. Not to mention, Those who cultivate ancient martial arts have very little care for the law. If someone like that wanted to annihilate the Baoshi Hall, even the government wouldn't be able to stop them in time. But if he was prepared, then even a black level wouldn't be able to easily annihilate his Baoshi Hall. At the same time, though, he wouldn't have the strength to kill the man either. Di Dongbing gasped. He didn't expect to casually offend someone like this today. No wonder he was so restless all day. But was he just going to let his son get beaten like that and not get revenge? Uncle Bing, don't worry too much. This is all just my guess. It's very rare for someone to reach black level before 30. Besides, even if he is black level, the Baoshi Hall doesn't have to fear him, Di Kaifeng said. Di Dongbing nodded. I'm not scared. Although we don't have black levels, we're not just for show either. Now that I'm prepared, if he dares to come to Baoshi Hall, I will make sure there will be no return for him. I might lose a few brothers at most, but if we tried to go capture him, it would be much harder. Di Kaifeng mused for a moment before saying, My master will come tonight, and I've received news that he has reached the earth level. Kaifeng, your master reached the earth level. Di Dongbing stood up in joy. If Caifeng's master dealt with this cocky youth, then they didn't need to worry about anything. Di Kaifeng knew what her uncle was thinking and said worriedly, Although master agreed to take me in as a formal disciple, I'm not one yet. Master is from the hidden sects, so even if I become his formal disciple, I can't ask him to attack people as soon as I see Hai Dash. Di Dongbing suddenly laughed bleakly and interrupted. Don't worry, Kaifeng, I've prepared a big gift for him, and we should be able to get it soon. This gift will move him for sure. What is it? Di Kaifeng asked. Luminous. Pearl, Di Dongbing said word by word. What, a luminous pearl? Even Di Kaifeng stood up in shock. I've sent Lipin to take care of it. He should have finished the job by now. Di Dongbing got up and remembered that Lu Lipin had been gone for 2 hours already. Why was there still no news of him? Di Dongbing immediately called Lu Lipin, but all he heard was a blank tone. The next moment, Di Dongbing felt something must be up. Lu Lipin wouldn't shut his phone without his approval, and if something happened to his phone, he would report it to him immediately. What's going on? Di Kaifeng noticed something was wrong too. I can't reach Lipin, which should be impossible. He should just be taking something from an ordinary person, Di Dongbing frowned. Di Kaifeng immediately asked, Where did he get the news of the luminous pearl? How precious is a luminous pearl? How could he easily get news of it? Di Dongbing's face also went serious, and he called 2 men to search for Lu Lipin immediately. Then he replied, he got the news from a taxi driver who heard it when driving a father and daughter dash. Father and daughter? Di Kaifeng asked with a frown. Yes. Di Dongbing then repeated what Lu Lipin told him. Di Kaifeng heard this and said more carefully, Uncle Bing, if I'm not wrong, that father and daughter are the people I was talking about. The taxi driver met them not too long ago, and he picked them up from the Haisha High School entrance? I'm almost certain that this is the man who beat DZ up. I didn't think things would be so coincidental, but now that I think of it, it's normal for someone like that to have the luminous pearl. Di Dongbing took a cold breath in and looked at Di Kaifeng in shock. Then that means that Lu Lipin and company are already. Di Kaifeng nodded. If it was really that person, then they might not be in a good state. Although he hasn't come looking for us yet, I'm sure he will at night. Di Dongbing's heart went cold. He felt that things didn't seem so simple, and they weren't under his control. Suddenly his phone rang. What? Di Dongbing's men's report shook him again. What is it? Di Kaifeng asked. Di Dongbing put the phone down in defeat. Lu Lipin and company S-van was found by the side of a road, with piles of ash and a few burned guns inside. Hearing this, Di Kaifeng also frowned. After a long while, she sighed. Uncle Bing, this isn't something we can settle, but luckily the luminous pearl is still on him. When my master comes tonight, I will tell him. Even if my master doesn't need it, He wouldn't let something that precious go by him. Di Dongbing suddenly looked 10 years older. We can only do that. It would be best if your master is willing to be involved. Sigh, I'm just afraid. I'll go have a look at Di Hua first. Di Kaifeng knew that her uncle was worried that her master wouldn't be willing to be involved, or that man was also related to the hidden sections. But she wasn't worried at all because she knew her master would definitely get involved for the sake of the luminous pearl. Although Yi Mo had lived at Ninghai for quite some time, he didn't really know many good restaurants. He almost only knew the Ninghai University restaurant and the West Lake restaurant. So Yi Mo took them to Grand Delicacy, one other restaurant he knew. It was closer to where Yi Mo was, and he had gone there once with Ning Qingxue. That meal, Yi Mo had spent all the money he had on him. The dishes were expensive, but they tasted nice. Although Yi Mo didn't really like it, Yi Mo was really excited about eating out, so he had to take her to a good place. Chapter 791, Marrow Refining. Chapter 791, Marrow Refining Grand Delicacy, was a rather high-caliber restaurant in Ninghai, and many wealthy people ate there. Yi Mo and the girls caught the eyes of many people as soon as they came in. Although Song Yangzhu was in a really weak state, after seeing Yi Mo, she had cleaned herself and now showed her special temperament again. Seeing Song Yangzhu look down, Yi Mo pulled her hand. She knew that Yi Mo wanted to tell her that she shouldn't care. Song Yangzhu recovered a little, thinking that she would only stay with Yi Mo for a bit, at most until Yi Mo's life stabilized, after which she would leave Yi Mo. Yi Mo didn't mind. And the reason why he hadn't cured her yet was because he was planning to not only recover her youth, but also refine her bone marrow. Before that, he didn't want to casually treat her. Yi Mo called for a room. Facing a table full of delicious food, Yi Mo forgot about wanting to cultivate and focused on eating while urging her mother to eat. Song Yangzhu ate very little, but she was very happy seeing that Yi Mo was happy. She had been living a hard life these years, but she did come from a wealthy family after all. Dad, was this where you lived before? Mom seemed to have shown me this place once. Yi Mo sat outside Yi Mo's house in Ninghai. Song Yangzhu's eyes went red. She remembered she took Yi Mo there once when she was only 5, and yet she still remembered. Yi Mo patted Song Yangzhu's hand and said to Yi Mo, "Yes, Daddy used to live here." Yi Mo took them inside. The flower pots didn't have a lot of weed, and the house was cleaned rather well. Yi Mo could tell that there were frequent visitors here. It was either Su Jingwen or Yunbing, but they were both not there at the moment, and Yi Mo didn't use his spirit sense to search for them either. Seeing the flower pot, Yi Mo sighed. It seemed like every woman related to him had been to this house except for Xiaoyan. Yi Mo went inside the house and used a few cleaning spells before saying to Yi Mo, "Sleep in the west room tonight. I need to treat your mother's wounds, so don't disturb us if there's nothing important." Yi Mo meant what he said, but both Yi Mo and Song Yangzhu misunderstood him. Yi Mo poked her tongue out and made a face at Yi Mo as she agreed. Then she snuck into the west room. She thought that there must be a lot of things Dad and Mom want to talk about. It wasn't good for her to be in between them. Song Yangzhu blushed, seeing her daughter leave. She thought she was prepared for what Yi Mo was planning, but she wasn't mentally prepared at all. Mentally, she was still the same girl as a decade ago. She wanted to sleep with Yi Mo and Yi Mo together, but when she opened her mouth, she didn't end up calling her daughter. In the depth of her heart, she also wanted to talk to Yi Mo privately. But even still, she was very anxious. To her, it felt like it would be her first time, as the last time she wasn't really conscious. Seeing Yi Mo walk into the room, she felt a little worried. "What are you hesitating about? Come in." Yi Mo called out to her. Song Yangzhu was a little worried, so she rubbed her clothes and said after a while, "Should I go take a shower first?" Yi Mo pulled her in. "No need, you can do that later. Take these pills and take off your clothes before laying on the bed. Yemo gave a face-preserving pill to Song Yangju and said. Song Yangju hesitated and didn't take the pill from Yemo. However, she did take off all her clothes and closed her eyes as she crossed her arms on her chest and laid on the bed. Yemo looked at Song Yangju, who still had that snow-white skin, and a burning intensity rose in his stomach. This was the second time he saw the naked Song Yangju, but the first time he didn't have such desires at all. Although Song Yangju was skinny, her chest was still really big, even a little bigger than Xiaoyun's. Yemo realized that the reason why she could still keep such a body was her foundation in ancient martial arts. Yemo had only meant for her to take off her outer clothing. Why did she take off all her clothes? Yemo didn't think too much about it. Song Yangju was his woman anyways, so it was fine. He gave the pill to Song Yangju and said, "Open your mouth and eat the pill." Song Yangju opened her eyes with a blushing face and said, "I don't need to eat it. I should be fine. You can go ahead." Yemo looked confusedly at Song Yangju and said, "This is a face-preserving pill. I want to treat your wounds and can even refine your bone marrow for you. It would be more effective if you ate this pill before we sta. But Yemo didn't finish and understood what Song Yangju meant. Immediately, love and care welled up in his heart. Song Yangju had probably misunderstood him. Although she was weak, she didn't reject him and took all her clothes off. Yemo leaned down and whispered into Song Yangju's ear. "Thank you, Yangju. Since you've seen Luoying and Qingxue, I want you to be like them. Someone by my side. I'll treat your wounds first, and then..." Song Yangju finally understood that Yemo was really trying to treat her wounds. Thinking about how extraordinary Yemo was, she immediately knew that Yemo wasn't tricking her. Although she had misunderstood him, she didn't feel awkward at all due to Yemo's attitude. She didn't even put her clothes back on. The face-preserving pill gradually spread its influence throughout Song Yangju's body. Yemo then put a Lotus Life pill in her mouth. If he were just purely treating her wounds, Song Yangju wouldn't need to take off her clothes at all. But he had decided to refine Song Yangju's marrow too. When the two pills started applying their effects inside Song Yangju's body, Yemo took out 360 golden needles and started piercing Song Yangju's chakra points, helping her organize her meridians. Yemo even took out 12 spirit stones and made a simple spirit chi gathering formation in case he was lacking in cultivation essence. Song Yangju fell asleep as soon as Yemo inserted the needles. Even though Yemo was stage 8 middle level and was about to reach the tertiary level, he couldn't finish refining her marrow that easily yet. Luckily, Song Yangju was already an ancient martial artist, so her meridians were much easier to unblock than normal people's, or he would have to use many times the effort. When Yemo removed all of the impurities in her body, he was so tired he didn't have any energy left. All the spirit chi inside the 12 spirit stones had been used up. Yemo looked at Song Yangju, who was fast asleep on the bed, and felt a sense of accomplishment. She recovered her looks from her prime, and her hair was also black again. Due to the face-preserving pill, she was even prettier than in her prime. Although her power only returned to the yellow-level tertiary stage, Yemo didn't plan on letting her keep cultivating ancient martial arts anyway. Chapter 792. Fiery Song Yangju. Chapter 792. Fiery Song Yangju. When Song Yangju woke up, she immediately noticed that she was fully naked and was shook. As a woman who didn't have a husband, she had always been very careful. She wasn't used to sleeping by someone's side, so it took her a moment to realize what was going on. When she turned and saw Yemo still sleeping by her side, though, she immediately felt relieved. But soon, she felt that something was different. Her body had become light, and her power had also reached the yellow-level tertiary stage. She could easily reach the black level again. All her wounds had disappeared, and she found that her hands were smooth and silky like 10 years ago. Song Yangju quickly grabbed her hair, and what appeared before her eyes were pure black, silky strands. She remembered that Yi Mo said he was going to treat her last night. Was his treatment this powerful? Song Yangju could no longer keep calm. She knew all this was real. Yi Mo could even fly. What couldn't he do? Was he really an immortal? No woman wouldn't care about her beauty. No woman didn't want to show her prettiest side to the person she liked. She was no different, and Yi Mo had truly returned to her what she had lost. In her excitement and joy, she embraced Yi Mo and kissed him. For the first time, Yi Mo hadn't chosen to cultivate to recover his cultivation essence and had chosen to sleep instead. When Song Yangju hugged him, he immediately woke up. Looking at her joyful face, he was also very satisfied. She had found her confidence again and went back to the old Song Yangju. Thank you, Yi Mo. Song Yangju couldn't contain her excitement and kissed Yi Mo's lips. Yi Mo had been separated from Mu Xiaoyan for so long and hadn't seen Luo Ying and Ning Qingxue, now that he was being wildly kissed by the naked Song Yangju. How could he resist it? Song Yangju's fire ignited his inner fire in turn, and to his surprise Song Yangju was so fierce that he couldn't even get on top of her. When she enveloped his rod of fire, she frowned as it seemed a little painful at first, but that pain was soon gone, and she moaned in satisfaction. The moon rose higher and higher until it was almost daylight before Song Yangju finally got off Yi Mo in exhaustion. She squirmed in Yi Mo's arms, and it was as though that crazy woman and Song Yangju were two different people. Seeing that Yi Mo wasn't asking her why she had been so fiery, she couldn't resist to say, "You took the initiative that day, so this time it was my turn to take the initiative." Yi Mo understood now, and he rubbed Song Yangju's hair apologetically. They had two little memories together. The thing on the mountain was the only one worth remembering. To be honest, I was innocent that day. You took the initiative then too. You. The two no longer had the mood to sleep. Perhaps due to the fierce battle during the night, Song Yangju no longer kept the distance she had when she first saw Yi Mo. Only now did she make up her mind to stay with Yi Mo, and not just let Yi Mo stay with Yi Mo while she left. "I'm sorry," Yi Mo apologized to Song Yangju in his arms. Firstly, because he had annihilated the Song family, and secondly, because he let her live like this by herself. Song Yangju put her finger on Yi Mo's lips. She knew what Yi Mo meant, but the Song family had been too cocky. While she had tried to get revenge, the other members even just stole the fortune and left, and no one had thought about her. Meanwhile, Yi Mo saved her many times and became her husband. She had long since forgotten about the business between him and the Song family. "Where did your wounds come from?" Yi Mo asked. Song Yangju hesitated before saying slowly, "When I was pregnant with Yi Mo, I went to Jing City. On a snowy day, I fell at the bottom of Yimei Mountain. Sister Shan Yu from around there saved me and took me up to the Yimei Mosque. After I heard about your news, I took Yi Mo to Beijing, but then I heard you were at Flowing Snake, so I took Yi Mo there. When I got there, however, I realized you had gone to Luoyu. Luckily, Luoyu had just finished the war, and the docks were open for migration, so I went there with Yi Mo." Song Yangju still felt a little pain thinking about the arduous journey she had. "Sorry, Yangju. When I saw your figure leave that day, it seemed familiar, but I didn't think carefully who it might have been. If I had, you wouldn't have gone through so much suffering." Yi Mo was very regretful. Song Yangju shook her head and knew that she had left no special feeling in Yi Mo's heart. She had never blamed Yi Mo for anything, as without Yi Mo, even though they had slept together, there wouldn't have been any special connection between them. "I didn't have a place to go after leaving Luoyu, so I went back to Yimei Mosque, but I saw Sister Shan Yu's and two other nuns' bodies there. I quickly buried them and wanted to take Yi Mo to leave when Song Yangju's face looked scared, recounting everything, as though the event of that day were still too scary. Yi Mo sent some qi into her body to calm her down. Song Yangju felt she was still in Yimo's arms and gradually calmed down a little, but her tone was still shaky. I just managed to walk up to the door when I was stopped by a black figure. He had no face. His face was like a skeleton and full of craters. I didn't dare to move at all. Yi Emo frowned. He thought of someone who also didn't have a face, the Yan Wuliang at the auction on the ship, but he had killed him after the auction. His voice was like a ghost's, and I was worried for Yimo, so I struck at him with a wooden stick in my panic, and for some reason I actually hit him. That man groaned, and something was seemingly beaten out of him, but the bracelet on Yimo emitted some light and stopped that thing. I didn't dare to fight him and quickly took Yimo to run. However, at that moment, that man kicked the wooden stick back and it hit my back. I spat blood, but didn't dare to stay, so I left Imei Mountain as quickly as possible. Luckily, that person didn't chase after me, and I fled to Ninghai with Yimo. Chapter 793. Yimo's Danger. Chapter 793. Yimo's danger. The more Yimo listened, the more he felt like that black figure was the same type of person as the Yan Wuliang he met. Yan Wuliang was from the All-Gu sect. Everyone in that sect was a Gu master, so even if he was injured, he wouldn't let Song Yangju escape. Yi Emo frowned and felt something wasn't right. Song Yangju was injured and weak, but she didn't have any Gu planted in her. Yi Emo was certain of this. Yimo also seemed very healthy. What's wrong? Song Yangju saw Yi Emo frown and asked worriedly. Yi Emo put his hand on Song Yangju's back and ran his cultivation essence through her body again to check. He didn't find anything wrong. Song Yangju's body felt hot after that search, and she subconsciously hugged Yi Emo tighter. Yi Emo patted her back and said, "Let me go check Yimo too." Because that person might be from the All-Gu sect, Yi Emo didn't feel safe and wanted to properly check Yimo. What's wrong with Yimo? Song Yangju was shook. To her, Yimo was much more important than herself. Yi Emo said seriously, "I suspect the person you saw was from the All-Gu sect. Everyone from that sect is inhumane and unreasonable, and they're very good at controlling Gu. I need to check if Yimo is fine." Seeing Yi Emo leave, Song Yangju immediately became worried. She had heard about the All-Gu sect from her master before. It wasn't a big hidden sect, but it was in Miaojiang, and because their means were so unpredictable, even the big 6 sects didn't want any enmity with them. "You're up already? Did you not sleep?" Yi Emo walked in and asked Yimo, "Dad, you're here. I just woke up. Are you going to teach me cultivation?" Yimo asked. Yi Emo smiled. "I will teach you for sure, but I'm busy today. Why don't you go out with your mom and buy some clothes?" "Then where's Mom?" Yimo asked. "She will come over in a bit. Show me your wrist for now. Let me check how your body is." Yi Emo checked Yimo's face first. It wasn't very healthy, but it wasn't sickly either. She gave out her hand without hesitation. Yi Emo carefully searched all her chakra points and meridians with his cultivation essence, but he didn't find anything even after searching twice. Yi Emo breathed easy. Yimo should be fine. It seemed that the person was too heavily injured and the bracelet protected them. Just when Yimo was going to take back his hand, he heard Yimo exclaim, "Mom, you!" Yimo held her mouth and looked at Song Yangju in disbelief. Her mother became this young and beautiful. Was this her mother? She didn't seem this pretty 10 years ago. It must be Dad using immortal magic to treat Mother. Yimo looked at her dad again, and her eyes were full of stars. She had to learn these things from Dad. Meanwhile, when Yimo screamed, Yi Emo felt something different on her. "Mom, you're so pretty. You can be my big sister now. No, my younger sister." Yimo praised. She wanted her mom to relax. She could tell her mom looked younger, but her eyes were still tense. Song Yangju walked over and sat down by the bed, asking Yi Emo worriedly, "How is it? Is Yimo fine?" Yi Emo was checking Yimo's body for the third time and didn't reply to Song Yangju. His face grew worse and worse. He was sure that something was done to Yimo, but it wasn't a live goo. This thing was just a mark. Yimo was sure that the perpetrator had to have been no weaker than Rinsha, perhaps even stronger. What's wrong? Song Yangju asked worriedly. Has Yimo been sicklish all these years, or ever shown anything out of the ordinary? Yimo asked. Song Yangju shook her head. She actually felt Yimo was lucky, as she rarely got sick. But thinking for a while, Song Yangju said, Yimo does get headaches every now and then, but each time she has a headache, I buy her a black chicken and make a stew with tianma for her. She then always gets better a week later. This happens about 3 times a year. Yimo heard this and was sure that Yimo had something more powerful than goo bugs planted on her. Something called a pill goo. A goo master would plant a pill goo into someone's body. Best if it was a child. The pill goo would do no harm to the body before it matured. But the day that it matured, it would kill the host and devour all of its life, force, and essence blood, forming into a pill-like goo. The master would then use this goo to make a pill for his cultivation. Rarely anyone used this due to the time frame it took to mature. Pill Gus usually matured after 18 years. This meant that when Yimo turned 20, the goo master would come retrieve the goo. Hearing this, both Song Yangju and Yimo were shook. It seemed that if the black-clothed man hadn't wanted Song Yangju to raise Yimo until she was 20, the both of them would have been dead. Then what do we do? Song Yangju was so worried she was about to cry. Yimo patted Song Yangju and Yimo, saying, Don't worry, I can get it out. Yimo, lay on your mom and turn your back to me. It was very hard to plant a pill goo, and even harder to take it out, but to Yimo it was still rather easy. This pill goo was near Yimo's right shoulder. Yimo sealed all directions it could escape to, and sliced open an area of her shoulder. At the same time, his cultivation essence enveloped a pea-sized thing and put it into a vase he prepared beforehand. After this, he gave Yimo a lotus life pill and checked her carefully, making sure there was no problem, before finally feeling assured. Only Yimo could have the privilege of eating a lotus life pill for such a minor injury. Song Yangju saw Yimo take out the goo and finally patted her chest in relief. I was so scared. I didn't expect there would be such bleak people in this world. Meanwhile, Yimo was raging with killing intent on the inside. He didn't care about Yan Wuyang's metal card anymore after going into the small world. But now it seemed he needed to go to Miaojiang and annihilate that all-goo sect. Chapter 794, Di Dongbing's Guest. Chapter 794. Di Dongbing's guest, Song Yangju, looked at the goo bug in disgust. Burn the bottle, please. It's uncomfortable to look at. If she hadn't told Yimo about what happened and he hadn't checked Yimo, this pill goo would end up taking Yimo's life. She felt scared just thinking about it. Yimo shook his head. I can't annihilate this goo yet. If I do, the owner would notice. I need to use this goo to find its master first. I won't let it go like this. Then Yimo gave Song Yangju a card. There's some money in this card. The password is all ones. You can go buy some things with Yimo while I take care of some things. To Yimo, if it was just the Dihua incident, he wouldn't go look for trouble with the Baoshi Hall. But how dare they try to scheme for the luminous pearl? This was what awakened his killing intent. Everyone liked treasures, but even with Yimo's power, he didn't go around killing people and robbing them as soon as he wanted something. Dad, do you have a lot of money in the card? Can I buy whatever I want? Yimo immediately asked. She had long since wanted a Luoyu brand phone, but she'd never told her mother. Before Yimo could reply, Song Yangju patted her head. Of course, you can buy the entire mall if you like. Song Yangju knew who Yimo was, the founder of Luoyu. If he wasn't rich, then no one in this world was rich. The most core place of Baoshi Hall was the Baoshi meeting area. This was also the most luxurious place in Ninghai. The big boss of Baoshi Hall was very restless today because they were about to welcome their most precious guest, an Earth-level ancient martial artist from the hidden sections. But the more he waited anxiously, the later the guest came. He didn't dare to leave the place, though, and at exactly 2 a.m., the guest arrived. Despite the time, Di Dongbing and his niece Di Kaifeng still stayed and had 2 beautiful maids serve the guest. The guest looked like he was only in his 40s, but Di Dongbing knew that this man was at least 60. In front of this guest, Di Dongbing no longer had that condescending temperament. He carefully talked with this guest, and Di Kaifeng was even more polite and obedient. She helped the guest peel a mango while talking to him. Not bad, you went from the yellow level, primary stage, to almost the tertiary stage. You have some talent. It seems you can come back with me to the hidden sects to cultivate. A pity you started cultivation too late, if only it was 10 years earlier. The guest took the mango and said, "Thank you, Master. My luck came too late. If I met Master earlier, perhaps I'd be at the yellow level tertiary stage already," Di Kaifeng said. "Ha ha ha," the guest laughed. He knew why he really took her in as a disciple. First was because her talent was good, but the main reason was because Di Dongbing had given him a very important herb that allowed him to reach the earth level. He came here wanting to take her into the hidden sects and also to see if she had any more good herbs. Di Dongbing had never cultivated ancient martial arts, but he was very perceptive. He could easily tell what the guest wanted. "Pei Qianbei, Wanbei feels that there must be more of those herbs, so I've sent people to Wu Yi Mountain to look for more. If we find some, we will contact Qianbei immediately." Small matter. The guest waved his hand as though he didn't care about the gift at all. Di Kaifeng casually mentioned, "If we could bring that luminous pearl now, we could put it in Master's bedroom, so dash, Kaifeng, that luminous pearl is only for show. Since we don't have it yet, we should focus on dash, however." Di Dongbing was immediately interrupted by the guest. "A luminous pearl? Are you sure?" A luminous pearl was so valuable that even an Earth level couldn't ignore it, much less someone who had only just reached the Earth level. Di Dongbing rejoiced. Even someone like that cared about the luminous pearl after all. He immediately said, "Yes, Pei Qianbei, it is a luminous pearl indeed. It was mine already, and I was planning on using it as a gift for Kaifeng becoming your disciple, but—" "But what?" The guest was clearly impatient. Di Dongbing immediately said, "I already bought that luminous pearl and paid the money, but unlucky for me, the kid of my family goes to the same school as the kid of the family who has the pearl. They had some conflict, and coincidentally, the dad of the kid came back and heavily beat up my son and now doesn't want to sell me the luminous pearl anymore." Di Dongbing sighed and continued, "I suspect the main reason why he doesn't want to sell it to me is because he knows that it's a luminous pearl now." Hearing this, the middle-aged man frowned. Although he spent most of his time cultivating, he wasn't an idiot. He suddenly looked at Di Dongbing and said, "You have your Baoshi Hall, and I heard you have a lot of masters there. Even if you killed someone in this area, it should be fine. So why would you fear an ordinary family? With your status, how can you not get revenge from someone who beat your son so heavily?" Di Dongbing subconsciously shivered. He had heard his niece say that her master cultivated too much and didn't understand the world that much. But it didn't seem so now. He quickly replied, "That man seems very strong actually, and Kaifeng suspects he's an ancient martial artist too, but we're not too sure." The middle-aged man looked at Di Kaifeng. Di Kaifeng quickly added, "When that man beat my cousin, I just arrived at the scene. I felt like I was no match for him. If he was going to keep attacking, I would attack too, but he didn't, so I didn't provoke him. I was afraid that if he had some strong background, it would cause trouble for Master." The middle-aged man nodded approvingly, but this disciple of his was a bit too careful. An Earth-level cultivator was already a master at the hidden sections. How could he be afraid of any ancient martial artist from the mortal world? Di Kaifeng didn't know the power of Earth level, though, so that's why she was this careful. How old is he? The man still asked. He looks to be in his 20s, Di Kaifeng answered. Hearing this, the man felt completely reassured. Younger than 30, no matter how genius he was, he would be at most at the black level, primary stage. However, Di Kaifeng purposely didn't tell him about her shoe getting sliced off out of fear that her master would become too careful. Di Dongbing continued. Yes, Kaifeng said that person was rather strong, and it wasn't easy to set up this Baoshi hall of mine, so I will count myself happy as long as he doesn't come for me. I wouldn't dare to find him instead. Oh, do you think he might come over? The guest looked at Di Dongbing and asked. Di Dongbing nodded. Yes, I was afraid he would come at night, actually, but now it's day and he still isn't here, so I guess I was thinking too much. Pei Qianbei, it must have been a long journey for you. How about Kaifeng takes you to rest first? The guest smiled. There's no such thing as rest for me. Since that cocky kid isn't here, then I'll go over and check him out. A luminous pearl. I also want to see it. Chapter 795. The Hidden Sex Danger. Chapter 795. The hidden sex danger. When Yi Mo arrived at the Baoshi Hall, his first thought was that the big boss of this place was really scared of death. This was just a meeting ground, yet there were about 30 bodyguards, both in plain sight and hidden all over. Although these bodyguards couldn't threaten him at all, Yi Mo wasn't going to be nice now that he was there. Other than the 2 guards at the gate, he controlled all the bodyguards and dumped them to one corner. It's this late, yet you're still not asleep. Are you discussing my luminous pearl, or are you waiting for me perhaps? Yi Mo suddenly said. Hearing this, everyone got up and looked at the door. Di Dongbing was stunned the most. He didn't know how Yi Mo could have come in at all. He had a whole bunch of bodyguards, and none of them had reported anything. But Di Dongbing had been through a lot of things and soon calmed down. You're the person who beat up my son so heavily? What enmity do I have with you? You were so cruel. Yet I didn't go find you, but you actually came to me, Di Dongbing said hatefully. Master, it's him. He dashed. Di Kaifeng thought about what happened yesterday and was also annoyed. But when she saw her master, she immediately swallowed the word she was about to say and looked at her master in disbelief. Her master was kneeling on the ground and shaking. What was going on? Yi Mo also felt very strange that there was an earth level here. How could there be this level of master in Ninghai? However, this earth level knelt down in front of him, so he clearly knew him. Di Dongbing also saw this eerie scene, and his mouth was wide open like Di Caifeng's. He immediately realized that he seemed to have messed with someone he couldn't mess with. Even Caifeng's master, an earth level cultivator, was kneeling and shivering in front of this person. Who was he? He didn't dare to even wage a guess anymore, and the next moment, he quickly pulled Di Kaifeng to kneel down with him. He had survived until that day not only because he had power, but also because he had the brains to recognize the situation. Yi Mo ignored the two and walked up to the earth level, asking coldly, "You know me?" The earth level was still shaky and quickly replied, Yes, Qianbei. This Wanbei is called Peiyong. I am from the Qishan sect. Qishan sect. Yi Mo frowned and really couldn't remember a sect called the Qishan sect. How do you know me? I don't have any impression of you, Yi Mo asked after thinking for a moment. Peiyong quickly replied, More than 10 years ago, I saw Qianbei once at the Hidden Sex tournament on Broken Top Mountain. Qianbei showed your almighty power on the stage and slaughtered that invader, promoting the dominance of our country. I've long since admired Qianbei. Peiyong didn't feel his words to be cringy at all. He had heard of Yi Mo's legendary stories. If Yi Mo could even annihilate a behemoth of the hidden sex like the Gourd Cave, then he wasn't even an ant to him. Yi Mo nodded. No wonder he knew him. You're here to help the Baoshi Hall? Yi Mo asked coldly. Peiyong subconsciously shivered and quickly said, No, Wanbei is not here for this. I'm preparing to go to the Hidden Sect's Earth level meeting to discuss the danger to the Hidden Sect's dash. At that moment, 2 guns sounded all of a sudden. Yi Mo's spirit sense had already noticed a bulky youth run in with a gun, and the 2 guards at the door had been shot down by him. Di Dongbing heard this, and his face grew worse. He wanted to stand up immediately but couldn't, as he had never knelt down for so long in his life. That youth rushed into the guest hall and was dazed by the scene in front of him. He knew who Di Dongbing was all too clearly, yet someone like him was kneeling down to someone. He had waited a whole night to kill him, but he didn't come out all. He had to leave Ninghai immediately, so he charged in to kill Di Dongbing, even if it could mean his death. The youth also felt like it had been surprisingly easy to come in, and that seemed to be related to this young man in front of him. He ignored Yi Mo and just started shooting away at Di Dongbing. The more bullets he sprayed, the crazier he became. Di Dongbing had never thought that he would die like this, killed by an ant. He really didn't how his heavily guarded meeting place didn't even have anyone to report when people kept coming in. It was acceptable when someone that Saifeng's master even feared came in. But what about this ordinary kid? Uncle! Di Kaifeng called out and rushed over, wanting to hold Di Dongbing up. It's you! Di Kaifeng then recognized the youth and looked at him angrily. She would have charged up already if he didn't have a gun in his hand. The youth also looked at Di Kaifeng furiously. I've killed that animal Di Dongbing, but you're a butcher too. My sister's death, ISS, also related to you, ha ha ha. Then, the youth sprayed bullets at Di Kaifeng. Hey, why did you kill him? Yi Mo scanned the youth and asked. He didn't stop the youth from killing, but if he couldn't give an appropriate reason for killing under his watch, Yi Mo wouldn't mind letting this youth die too. The youth saw Di Kaifeng fall in a pool of blood, and the madness in his eyes gradually dissipated. If she had been just getting close to me for my family's land and wealth, I wouldn't mind even if she tricked it all away, because I really loved her. But this devil-hearted woman not only helped the Bao she hauled take everything I had, she also wouldn't even let my little sister go. Madness appeared in the youth's eyes again. Yi Mo waved his hand. Okay then, you've killed them and gotten your revenge. Now leave. Don't interrupt my business here. Di Kaifeng must have given this kid's sister to Di Hua, and she probably died in his hands. The youth looked strangely at Yi Mo once. He knew Yi Mo was no ordinary person from how Di Dongbing had been kneeling on the ground. Thank you. I'm Feng Chen. May we meet again. He felt that the reason why he had been so successful today was definitely related to this person. He could also feel that the man didn't fear his gun. He didn't have any enmity with him anyway, so he saluted with his fist and left. Yi Mo actually had a strange feeling about this Feng Chen. The fellow had a strange aura about him that felt familiar to Yi Mo. He didn't keep thinking, though, and looked at Peiyong, who was kneeling on the ground, and asked, What is this danger to the hidden sects you mentioned? Chapter 796. Old Friend in Trouble. Chapter 796. Old Friend in Trouble. Peiyong immediately replied, The hidden sects have always stayed hidden. What is more, after a few sects offended Qianbei more than 10 years ago, the hidden sects have been even more hidden. Even the tournament has changed to be held in one of the hidden sects' places. But these last years, many hidden sects have just disappeared strangely, and not a single person was left behind. Yi Mo frowned. He knew the power of the hidden sections. If he hadn't been a truth cultivator, it would be a dream to put up a fight against the hidden sections. What kind of person could make the hidden sects disappear? And many of them. Peiyong continued, when the Lian Hang Jing Mosque in Guang, Hang's sect disappeared, no one cared, and it was said that they had moved to Luoyu. But these few years, more sects disappeared strangely, such as Xiandu sect, Yijian sect, Meng family. They were all annihilated in one night. Moreover, the disciples died in all sorts of ways. Even 36 Rivers Dash, hearing this, Yi Mo's eyes narrowed. What happened to 36 rivers? The sect leader Zhang Jingxia, who had stood up for Yimo without hesitation when he had conflict with Xiang Mingwang, was his friend. Yimo wasn't just going to sit and watch when something had happened to 36 rivers. Peiyong knew that Gourd Cove's annihilation was related to Yimo, so he didn't dare to mention that. However, he was aware that Yimo was friends with Zhang Jingxia. Hence, since something had happened to 36 rivers, he knew that Yimo hadn't done it. Peiyong said immediately 36 Rivers was also attacked not long ago. Their HQ were completely destroyed. If their sect leader hadn't been at halfway Great Heaven and their disciples hadn't fought hard to escape, they would have all died. Yimo's expression sunk. Zhang Jingxia must have suffered heavy losses. Yimo had been wondering if it could be the same people who had attacked Song Yangzhu, but now it didn't seem so. The black person was a Gumater and he had been by himself. For a sect like 36 Rivers to have to escape of, it couldn't just be one person. Why did these people want to annihilate all of the hidden sects? At this moment, the police sirens sounded. Yimo grabbed Peiyong and left the meeting room. Peiyong just felt his head spin for a bit, and then somehow he appeared in a park. Peiyong was shook. He felt like he had been flying, but it was daytime already. Could Yimo really fly? He feared Yimo even more, so he didn't dare to ask. Where is sect leader Zhang right now? Yimo asked. Peiyong replied at once. He took his 36 river disciples and escaped to Jiuming Academy. Because he was heavily injured, he sent his disciple to Luoyu asking for your protection. He wanted to move 36 rivers to Luoyu. However, the disciples he sent had no news. Yimo's heart sunk. He thought of Dongfang Wang. When he had sent people there, it must have still been under the reign of the Dongfang family. The vice-sect leader of Jiuming Academy, Feng Qianbei, invited all Earth-level masters to gather at Kunlun to discuss about this matter. Due to the severity of the issue, the Earth levels of the Heaven Squad will also be going. I came to Ninghai because Ninghai has flights to Luqing City. There are Jiuming Academy sect members there leading the way, Peiyong said carefully. Yimo nodded and gave a porcelain bottle to Peiyong. There's a pill here. Give it to sect leader Zhang for me when you get to Jingming Academy. Tell him I will go visit him after I've finished my business. Yes, Qianbei. Peiyong felt relieved. The fact that Yimo was telling him to take something to Zhang Jingxia meant that Yi Qianbei no longer meant to kill him. When Peiyong took the bottle and looked up, he was shook even more. Yimo had long disappeared. Yimo knew the hidden sect's power all too well. Even the outer hidden sects were still strong. Any hidden sect that had managed to exist until now was no simple being and had their secret powers. Who was it that was so crazy to challenge the entire hidden sects and annihilate them one by one? Yimo scanned his spirit sense and saw Song Yangzhu and Yimo go into a shopping mall. He had gone to Ninghai to see Su Jingwen, but he hadn't seen her there. Instead, he had found Song Yangzhu and his daughter. He planned to take them back to Luoyu first before going to see Zhang Jingxia to Jiuming Academy. Mom, why is there so much money on Dad's card? What business does he do? When Yimo saw so many zeros on the ATM, she asked. Song Yangzhu didn't know how to explain it to Yimo. She had always told Yimo that her dad was very capable. Yet, whenever she asked what Yimo did, she tried to avoid it in case she asked her to go look for her dad. Yimo, is your dad back? A girl the same age as Yimo saw her and immediately ran over to them. Yimo turned around and looked at this girl. She replied joyfully, Ning Lan, how come are you here? Didn't you go to class today? The girl said happily, Yes, I was worried about you yesterday afternoon when you didn't go to class. Did that D guy do anything to you? Yimo shook her head. Yes, my dad came back yesterday, so he didn't dare do anything to me. Oh, why didn't you go to class today again? My dad came to Ninghai too, so I might be going back to Beijing. Oh, by the way, I heard your dad gave you a lot of money. Now you can buy that phone, Ninglan said. She was very close to Yimo. They both loved a certain kind of phone, but she knew Yimo didn't have the money to buy it, so she didn't buy it either. She was planning to get one for herself and Yimo since she was leaving. However, now, it seemed Yimo would be buying it herself. Hillbillies who haven't seen any real money. My pocket money is more than what your dad gave you. A contemptuous voice sounded. Yimo frowned, but didn't reply. She had learned to endure. She usually didn't say a thing until it touched her bottom line. Ning Lan couldn't help but to say, Ning Jinwu, what does this have to do with you? I can buy my own things. You don't need to come with me. Go back first. Yimo, ignore him. Ning Wujin only looked 2 years older than Ning Lan, but he was already one. 7 m tall. He studied Yimo in contempt and then shook his head, but he didn't talk nor leave. From his perspective, Yimo's dad couldn't be very rich, just judging by the clothes she was wearing. Song Yangju wasn't going to argue with little kids. She pulled Yimo's hands and said, Yimo, let's go buy things. Perhaps your dad is already back. I'll go shopping with you guys. Ani, you're really pretty. If Yimo hadn't called you Mom, I would have thought you were her sister, Ninglan said. Yangju, a joyful voice interrupted them. Is it you? Song Yangju was also dazed when she saw the man who was coming. Chapter 797, Luo Yu's Purple Card. Chapter 797. Luo Yu's purple card. Strictly speaking, that man was her martial brother, Su Shi. When she left the Heaven Squad, he was already at Earth level, primary stage. After 10 years, his skin looked even better than before. Martial sister Song. Su Shi was more shocked. Song Yangju was much younger and prettier than before. She looked like a young girl in her 20s. Song Yangju was only 20 when she was part of the Heaven Squad. However, due to her cold complexion, she seemed older than she really was. Even so, Su Shi still liked her. Yet, Su Shi knew he was pursuing something out of his reach, so he didn't think too much about her. However, his heart for Song Yangju hadn't changed. Ever since he had reached Earth level, he thought of her even more. Mom, who is he? Yimo looked at Su Shi vigilantly. Huh, you're married already? Su Shi looked at Yimo. He couldn't believe that Song Yangju was not only married, but that she had such a grown-up daughter. Song Yangju smiled and didn't reply to him. To her, the Song Yangju from the past was dead. Her master had disappeared without notice after the Song family got annihilated. She had had to use her own means to go to the hidden sex tournament and met EMO there. Su Shi didn't know at all what Song Yangju was thinking, but judging from their clothes, he immediately could tell that they weren't living very well. This meant that her husband wasn't very powerful. He didn't care at all if she was married or not. No matter who her husband was, he could crush him with one finger. Yangju, do you want to go back? Martial Uncle Wan is also back, Su Shi said again. Song Yangju said plainly, Captain Su, I'm buying some things with my daughter, and I will be leaving with my husband later on. I'm no longer interested in returning to that place. Hearing Song Yangju call him captain, Su Shi's expression didn't look too good. In the past, Song Yangju called him martial brother. Despite this, Su Shi didn't leave immediately. He was at Earth Peak now, and he was in no rush. Although he had had some women in the past years, they were just superficial flings. The moment he saw Song Yangju again, his heart reignited. No matter who her husband was, he had to get Song Yangju. Yangju, I got an invitation to go to a meeting at Jiuming Academy. If you're willing, you can come with me, Su Shi continued. He was sure that Song Yangju knew how powerful Jiuming Academy was. The sect was like an insurmountable giant, even to the squad leader of the Heaven Squad. Song Yangju smiled and took Yimo to the phone shop, but she didn't reply to Su Shi at all. Her husband was Yimo, and even if she had still been by herself, she wouldn't have wanted to talk to Susher. She had seen all too well what sort of person he was. I want this phone. Yimo and Ning Lan went to the counter. Use my card. Susher offered his gold card. No need. Song Yangju took out the card Yi Mo had given her. Luo Yu's card. The attendant saw this and was dazed. Luo Yu's credit cards had a unique sign which had the two floating Luo Yu words. No country could counterfeit it. There were also colors on the rim of the card. There were many colors, but there was one color that only the city lord could use, and that was purple. That card happened to be purple too. As an employee of Luo Yu Corporation, they were all trained rigorously to recognize all sorts of cards before they started working. The card in that worker's hand was not only from Luo Yu, but also purple. She immediately became anxious. She had seen a picture of this card, but when she actually had it in her hands, she didn't dare to believe it. Their manager had said during training that they had to recognize this card, yet it was not likely they would see it. Ha ha ha! Did your dad get a fake card? Ning Wuzhen noticed the attendant wasn't talk while holding the card, so he scorned. Yimo and Ning Lan also got a little confused. Yimo realized that their card really seemed to be different than other people's cards. The attendant bowed respectfully to Song Yangju and said, Miss, hello, please wait a moment. Although she knew the card was real, she didn't dare make the decision and notified at once the shopping mall manager. Song Yangju hesitated and asked, Doesn't this mall belong to Luo Yu? Yes, the attendant replied respectfully. This is a shopping mall under Luo Yu's business faculty. Our head manager will come to greet you personally. Susher also frowned. He had seen Luo Yu's cards before, and Song Yangju had taken one out. After seeing how careful the attendant was Song Yangju's husband really from Luo Yu? If he was, then they shouldn't be that poor. Then a woman ran over in a hurry. She seemed to be facing the biggest thing in her life. The attendant saw this woman and quickly walked up to her. Manager Cui, this guest brought the card. The woman saw Song Yangju and her eyes lit up. She just looked at the card quickly and said, May I ask for your surname? Song Yangju smiled. I'm Song Yangju. This is my daughter Yi Yimo. Yi Yimo. The woman looked at Yimo and her face drastically changed. You're the wife of the president. Susher heard this, and expression didn't look too good. Song Yangju knew that president probably meant Yimo, but she wasn't too sure. However, someone did reply to her. Yes, she's the president's wife. Shen Qianchan is quite capable. She has opened shopping malls everywhere. Dad, you're here. Yimo heard this voice and run to hug the person. Hello, President. I'm Cui Yanxiu, the head manager for this shopping mall. The head manager immediately came up to greet Yimo and gave him the card back. Then she said, Director Shin said that the president doesn't need to use a card in any of Luo Yu's shopping mall. Yimo was speechless. Since when had Shen Qianchan made this rule? He quickly waved his hand. Swipe this card and tell Director Shin that from now on no one in Luo Yu can buy things without paying. Tell her I said this. If she finds out about anyone doing this, punish them heavily. Yes, the head manager quickly said. Susher's expression grew worse. He couldn't have thought that Song Yangju's husband was Yimo. How could Yimo be her husband? Chapter 798, Guessed Right Indeed. Chapter 798, Guessed Right Indeed. Instructor Yi, I really didn't expect to be able to see you here. Susher wished he could kill Yimo. However, he knew that even if he had been a half-step great heaven, he would still be no match for Yimo. Susher had thought that there was almost no one who could stop him from marrying a woman. Even if there were, it would be a few Qianbei of the hidden sections. But they wouldn't do such a thing. However, there was one more person to whom he didn't dare do anything, and that person was Yi Mo. Yet, he was this unlucky he liked Yi Mo's woman. He knew that if he didn't want to die, he had better stop, because even there Yi Mo could kill him without any pressure. Yi Mo didn't know that Su Shi desired Song Yangju. He thought it was normal that they were talking since they had both been from the Heaven Squad after all. He could guess that Su Shi was there to go to the Jiuming Academy's meeting, but he didn't have a good impression of him at all. He waved his hand. "You can leave. You have no business here." "Yes." Su Shi's face was green with anger. Yi Mo had treated him like one would blow a fly away, but he didn't dare do anything at all. "Dad, why did that Ani say you didn't need to pay? Is this shopping mall yours? Why did Mom never tell me?" Yi Mo asked. Yi Mo smiled. "This shopping mall is connected to me, but it's not mine. As for free things, if I start this, there will be people that follow it. In time, the Luoyu shopping malls would be filled with parasites and bring corruption to other things." Yi Mo scanned the manager and said without concern, "If there are really parasites like that in Luoyu, I wouldn't mind swatting them to death." The manager shook and said, "Yes, President. I will give your order to Director Shin." "Yi Mo, I feel your dad is right," Ninglan said. Ning Wuzhen had wrongly estimated Yi Mo's identity, and thus didn't dare to talk. He couldn't help to notice Yi Mo closely, and then just realized she was a girl so pretty like he had never seen before. She didn't wear outstanding clothes, but her exquisite face and bright eyes made his heart beat quickly. He subconsciously looked at Yi Mo's mom, and his heart beat even faster. Song Yangju not only had that beauty, but also had the maturity. Ning Wuzhen had heard he had a really pretty auntie who was once the prettiest girl in Beijing. What a pity! He hadn't seen her before, but he believed that Song Yangju's beauty was on par with that unseen auntie. Song Yangju was Yi Mo's mother, so he didn't need to think about it. However, Ning Jinwu was now really interested in Yi Mo. Yi Mo's dad seemed to be a president and own a shopping mall, but the Ning family owned more shopping malls. If he showed his family's wealth, perhaps Yi Mo's dad would look at him in different light and let his daughter get close to him. Thinking about this, Ning Jinwu immediately said, "Actually, Ninglan, do you know how long you can stay this time at Beijing?" Ninglan didn't know why he asked this, but she said, "Of course, I will be staying there permanently. Moreover, my mother doesn't like moving around." Ning Wuzhen said in satisfaction, "You're wrong. Your dad probably won't be staying long in Beijing, because my big uncle doesn't like your dad. This is why your dad doesn't have a share in the Ning family. If my dad hadn't requested it, your dad wouldn't even be able to go back to Beijing." Ning Jinwu gloated. "My family has a medicinal factory in the US and 2 shopping malls in Beijing. This is all because great-grandpa likes me the most. If I talk to my great-grandpa, perhaps he might give your family a company or something." Yi Mo suddenly looked at Ning Jinwu and said, "You're from the Beijing's Ning family?" "Of course, my great-grandpa is Beijing's Ning Fuzhen." Ning Jinwu saw that Yi Mo had finally noticed him and immediately said this. His face was full of pride when he spoke of his great-grandpa. Even the rich and the famous in Beijing were very respectful to his great-grandpa. He nodded. He had been planning to find Ning Fuzhen, and now he met someone from the Ning family. To him, the only one he had a good impression of from the Ning family was Ning Qingshua's dad, so he just nodded. "Yi Mo, let's go buy our things and then go." Song Yangju could tell Yi Mo's dislike to Ning Jinwu and immediately said. After buying things, Ning Lan and Yi Mo separated. Ning Jinwu wanted to ask for Yi Mo's contact details, but Yi Mo didn't like a person who looked down on her dad, so she ignored him. The first thing he did after bringing them home was test their spirit roots. The results didn't disappoint. Yi Mo Song Yangju was a duo element, metal and water spirit root. Yi Mo was the metal and lightning dual spirit root. Yi Mo knew that Yi Mo had probably inherited the lightning spirit root from him, because people rarely had the mutated spirit root with a 5-element spirit root. Yi Mo explained cultivation to them carefully and taught them the primordial chaos chant. Then he made 2 storage rings for them. He didn't make flying swords for them yet. He would do that after he reached foundation establishment state. Although Song Yangju and Yimo cultivated at the same time, Yimo was more than twice as fast as Song Yangju. This was partially due to the fact that Song Yangju rarely slept with Yimo in the past. So now that they stayed together, they spent most of the night rolling in the bed. Secondly, Yimo's spirit root was more suitable for the primordial chaos chant. 3 days passed quickly. Yimo took Song Yangju and Yimo back to Luoyu. When Song Yangju had first arrived to Luoyu, it was far from as developed as it was that day, but she wasn't too surprised seeing it. However, Yimo was very shocked. She had never seen a city as prosperous and beautiful as Luoyu. "Dad, this place should be called Luoyu Immortal City. This place is really beautiful," Yimo sighed. Yimo was also happy that his daughter was happy. "Yes, from now on Luoyu will be called Luoyu Immortal City." Su Iwahua got news of his arrival as soon as he got there. She went to greet Yimo and the others, and she also agreed to Yimo's petition. "Brother, she's the one I told you dash." Yiling saw Song Yangju and recognized her immediately. Song Yangju also saw Yiling and greeted her. Yiling looked at Yimo and then looked at her brother. She went up and pinched Yimo's arm. "Brother, did you lie to me? You said you didn't dash." Yiling then looked at Yimo and then at Song Yangju. "Sister-in-law, I've thought about it with Bei Wei for a long while. We felt you were our sister-in-law, and it really seems to be so. Is this that little girl? She's so grown up now and pretty." Chapter 799. Ning Family. Chapter 799. Ning family, after staying with Song Yangju and Yimo at Luoyu for 2 days, Yimo left Luoyu again. He was in no rush to go to Jiuming Academy, however. Zhang Jingxia was injured, but with Yimo's Lotus Life pill he should be fine soon. Yimo first went to Beijing because he wanted to see Ning Fuzhen and visit Han Zixin. He hadn't been able to save Zhang Ju and Li Hu. Yimo felt very guilty about it, but he had tried his best, and he had almost lost his life on that island too. Yimo went straight to the Ning family mansion first. 2 guards stopped Yimo, asking who he was, when noises came from the inside. "Ning Yang, weren't you going to Luoyu? Why did you come back to Beijing?" "Oh, they didn't want you in. The Ning family isn't some place you can come and go as you please." A middle-aged man was pushing another person as he spoke, coldly. "What right do you have to push my dad? He just came to visit great-grandpa. What's that got to do with you? Do you think we would want to come back to this trash place?" A girl's voice sounded, and she was going to pull the man who was pushed. "You dare call the Ning family mansion a trash place? You're asking to die." A crisp voice sounded, and a young girl was going to slap the other girl. The dad wanted to stop the girl, but he was also being held back, so he could only watch as his daughter was about to get slapped. Yimo sneered and walked up, grabbing the girl's wrist, easily throwing her far away. Yimo didn't use much force, so the girl only stumbled a few times and stood up. Yimo had recognized that the girl who was about to get slapped was Yimo's classmate, Ninglan. He wasn't going to let Yimo's friend get slapped. "Uncle, it's you. What are you doing here? Is Yimo here too?" Ninglan called out in joy. "Who are you? How dare you come here?" That young girl stood up and raged at Yimo. Then she roared at the guards. "Are you dead people? Why did you let anyone come inside the mansion? Hurry up and capture him." "Wait." The man who was holding Ninglan's dad back suddenly let go of Ningyang and spoke politely. "May I ask if you are Yimo?" Yimo replied coldly. "Yes, I'm Yimo. You really are Yimo City Lord Yi." The middle-aged man's voice became shaky. His tone and manners immediately became careful and reverent, as though it was a god standing before him. "You're Yimo? Is Qingxue fine? I'm Ningyang." Ninglan's dad walked up in excitement. "Ningyang?" Yimo seemed to have heard Qingxue mention this name, Qingxue went out on holiday, and she's fine. Aren't you? I'm Qingshue's cousin. Yi Mo immediately remembered. When Ning Qingxue was betrayed by her family and sold to the Song family, it was Ning Yang who told her about it and helped her escape. Yi Mo immediately reached out his hand and shook hands with Ning Yang. Nice to meet you. Thank you for what you did. Ning Yang immediately felt happy. It was a matter of huge excitement for him that someone like Yi Mo remembered what he had done. The middle-aged man who had been pushing Ning Yang now carefully walked up to Yi Mo and said, I'm Ning Yang's cousin, Ning Shi, Qingshue's elder cousin. It's an honor that City Lord Yi has come to the Ning family. However, he didn't dare to shake hands with Yi Mo. He could tell by Yi Mo's attitude that he didn't really want to stay with him. Ning Jinwu, who came out to watch the show, looked at Yi Mo in shock. He didn't think that even his great-uncle would be so respectful to this man. His great-uncle was the next in line for becoming the family leader. But what shook him even more was that his great-grandpa even came out with a very excited face. Yi Mo immediately recognized Ning Fuzhen. He wasn't young, but he could tell he looked like Ning Zhongfei. Is this the glorious arrival of City Lord Yi? Ning Fuzhen yelled in excitement from far away. Although Yi Mo didn't really like Ning Qingshue's grandpa, he was still her grandpa, and Yi Mo would be asking for help today. Hearing this, Yi Mo walked up and saluted with his fists. I greet Ning Qinbei. Ning Fuzhen clearly liked this greeting method. The only pity was that Yi Mo didn't call him grandpa, but he knew that the damage in their relationship with Ning Qingxue was irreversible. It was already great fortune that Yi Mo would even come to them. He didn't even need Yi Mo to do anything for the Ning family, as he only had to spread the word that Yi Mo had come to their mansion, and the Ning family status would go up a level in Beijing. Not to mention, he was sure that Yi Mo wouldn't come visit for no reason. City Lord Yi, please come inside. Ning Fuzhen reached out his hand hospitably. Clearly, he was trying to usher Yi Mo in. Great-grandpa, is this Luo Yu's City Lord Yi? He's so young. That girl who had been about to beat Ning Lan said as she came up and held Ning Fuzhen's arm. However, she was looking at Yi Mo with seductive eyes. Yi Mo scanned this girl, and she was indeed beautiful and even prettier than Zhu Yangqing. But Yi Mo saw that the greater part of her seeming innocence was an act, and this made Yi Mo displeased. Yi Mo didn't go in immediately and asked Ning Yang, Brother Ning, why are you here? The reason why Yi Mo asked this was because Ning Yang didn't seem to be welcomed here, and from what Ning Jinwu said, their family didn't seem to be doing well in Beijing. Ning Yang sighed. A few years ago, I planned on joining Qingxue at Luoyu, but she seemed to be out, and something happened to Luoyu, so I wasn't able to make it. I don't have much business in Beijing, so I went back to my wife's home in Ninghai, but I can't stay there forever, so I... Yi Mo could tell that Ning Yang's wife's family must not be happy with him, so he went back to Beijing. Yet he couldn't even see Ning Fuzhen, much less ask him for help. Ning Fuzhen thought quickly and immediately understood what was going on. He looked annoyedly at Ning Shi and said amicably, Ning Yang, why didn't you just come inside? Come in with City Lord Yi. This must be Lan Lan. You're so big already. Come in with your dad and let great-grandpa see you. Ning Yang knew that the reason why Ning Fuzhen had this attitude was all because of Yi Mo. He quickly took Ning Lan up and greeted, Grandpa, I came to visit you today with Lan Lan. All is good as long as you're healthy. Great. You can go ahead and settle in the mansion when you're ready, and I'll let Zhongshou give you some responsibilities later. Sigh, I'm getting old, Ning Fuzhen sighed. Yi Mo smiled. Brother Ning Yang, if you want I can write a letter to Eru, and you can work at Luoyu Pharmaceuticals. As for Lan Lan, she can study at Luoyu. Hearing this, everyone in the Ning family looked at Ning Yang in envy. It was so hard to even go to Luoyu, much less live there. Of course I'm willing. Ning Yang replied in excitement. Because of Yi Mo, when Ning Yang left, almost the whole Ning family sent him off. After the two left, Ning Fuzhen said politely to Yi Mo, "City Lord Yi, please come in." Yi Mo went in first, while Ning Fuzhen waved his hands at the people behind him and didn't let a single person come in. However, he did let that girl holding his arm come in. Chapter 800. Where are the fishtails? Chapter 800. Where are the fishtails? Ning Fuzhen took Yi Mo straight to his office and let that girl make 2 cups of tea. He kept on expressing his amazement at Luo Yu's development and beauty, but didn't mention Ning Zhongfei or Ning Qingxue. Yi Mo sneered. He knew that their relationship was very bad. Ning Fuzhen understood that too, and so he didn't use them as an icebreaker in their conversation. Ning Fuzhen had brought him to his office to get closer to him and perhaps even to try to settle at Luo Yu. But Yi Mo had his bottom line. Even if it meant not taking the 2 fishtails, he couldn't possibly let Ning Fuzhen settle at Luo Yu. Other than those who had helped Qingxue, no one from the Ning family would be allowed to go. He didn't want Qingxue to feel discomfort in any way. Seeing Ning Fuzhen not bringing the topic to the main point, Yi Mo could only say, "Ning Qianbei, Wanbei came here to trouble Qianbei with something." Ning Fuzhen heard this and immediately brightened up. "City Lord Yi, tell me whatever you need. I will take care of it without hesitation as long as it's within my capability." Yi Mo nodded. "In that case, I'll be straightforward. I heard you happened to buy 2 fishtail shards at an auction in Beijing once. Would you be able to show that to me?" Fishtail shards. Ning Fuzhen was dazed and thought for a while before remembering that there really had been such a thing. He had bought 2 fishtail shards from an auction 3 years ago. He felt they were extraordinary but not too expensive, so he bought them. But since he wasn't able to find anything special about them, he gave them to someone else. He didn't think Yi Mo would have come for that. Seeing Ning Fuzhen's face, Yi Mo got worried. Had he lost it already? Ning Fuzhen soon reacted and said with a bitter smile, "I had some plans in mind for the 2 shards, so they're not on me right now." Ning Fuzhen then said, "I was planning on giving the shards to a friend to make a set of fish pieces as Xu Yan's wedding gift." Yi Mo was dazed at the words. Fishtail shards as a wedding gift? Was Ning Fuzhen's brain all right? That broken thing was clearly not suitable for a wedding gift. However, Ning Fuzhen had his ideas. He had long since regretted his conflict with Ning Qingxue and her father. He thought that if he could connect to Yi Mo somehow, his Ning family could move to Luo Yu and maybe even become the #1 family in Luo Yu. That would be much better than being a family on the decline in Beijing. Even now already, most people respected the Ning family due to Ning Qingxue. So he wanted to connect to Yi Mo through another marriage. Yi Mo could marry 2 wives in Luo Yu, which meant he could marry more. He got to decide what happened in Luo Yu anyways. Other than Ning Qingxue, the prettiest in the Ning family was Ning Xuyan. The only problem was that she was a generation younger than Ning Qingxue. But if Yi Mo accepted her, then that was no problem to speak of at all. That fishtail shard story was just an excuse. He believed he could take it back if he needed. Ning Fuzhen thought, with Ning Xuyan's beauty, Yi Mo wouldn't reject this. Thinking about this, Ning Fuzhen laughed. "You and Xu Yan must be fated. You both like those fishtails. Xu Yan liked that pair of fishtails, so I told people to refine them into something better. City Lord Yi, if you don't mind, I can even marry Xu Yan to you. She's my favorite granddaughter. She's still studying at Beijing University, but if you want, she can marry you at any time in Luo Yu." Ning Xuyan heard this and was dazed, but she immediately understood what was going on. She wasn't embarrassed at all, and as she sneaked a look at Yi Mo, she looked very willing. Yi Mo was like an emperor in Luo Yu. If she married Yi Mo, she would be the emperor's wife or concubine. Yi Mo's face sunk. He immediately saw through what Ning Fuzhen was trying to do and cursed at Ning Fuzhen's shamelessness. Yi Mo didn't like Ning Xuyan's character at all. Even if he did, he wouldn't agree to this with Ning Qingxue in mind. Ning Fuzhen clearly wanted the Ning family to become the #1 family in Luoyu, while Yi Mo had just reorganized Luoyu so that it couldn't be controlled by a family anymore. If it really became like that, he would rather not have built Luoyu at all. Yi Mo got up and bowed. Since Qianbei doesn't want to take it out, I'll be leaving. Then Yi Mo turned to leave and couldn't even be bothered replying. After leaving, he went back to Ning Fuzhen's office while invisible. He wanted to find out where the fishtails were. Meanwhile, Ning Fuzhen's face was very bad. He didn't think Yi Mo would be this rude. Ning Xuyan was also annoyed. She believed that the reason why Yi Mo didn't like her was all because Yi Mo had just happened to see her unreasonable side. Grandpa, this Yi Mo is really rude. So what if he's the city lord of Luoyu? I don't even care, Ning Xuyan said. Ning Fuzhen waved his hand and sighed. No need to say anything. Our Ning family is just an insect to him. Even if he wouldn't do it himself, too many people would be willing to annihilate us if he said anything. Great-grandpa, are those 2 fishtails important? Even Yi Mo wants to see them. Ning Xuyan wasn't dumb at all. Ning Fuzhen shook his head. I don't know, but since Yi Mo asked for it, I will ask them back. It'll still be worth something if we give them to him. One day, if the Ning family has nowhere to go, maybe we can get help from Luoyu. Then, who did you give the fishtails to, great-grandpa? Ning Xuyan asked the question Yi Mo wanted to know the answer to the most. Ning Fuzhen replied, to a Japanese friend of mine. He brought a friend here last time who really liked it, so I gave it to him. Oh, I remember. Was it that Xiang Jin? Ning Xuyan clapped her hands. Ning Fuzhen nodded. It was him. Last time, since I was thinking about sending you to Japan, I wanted to ask him to help you. If you go to Japan, you need to be polite to him. His father and I are old friends. I don't want to go to Japan and learn those tricks from them. I might as well learn ancient martial arts if I want to learn something, Ning Xuyan said in contempt. Ning Fuzhen said seriously, Xiang Song founded the hidden art in Japan himself. It's no magic tricks. He's the sect leader of one of the 3 big national art sections. Don't underestimate him. That Xiang Jing is said to be even better than his father. Their arts are no weaker than ancient martial arts. Moreover, do you think it's that easy to learn ancient martial arts? Hearing this, Ning Xuyan asked carefully after a while, Then did that guy come for the 2 fishtails? Ning Fuzhen said, He just happened to see them then. He also came last time to ask about Yi Mo, but he didn't know that although Yi Mo is a part of our family, he's like a stranger to us. Why was he asking about Yi Mo? Does he have enmity with Yi Mo? Ning Xuyan asked. Ning Fuzhen frowned. He had never really thought about it. Chapter 801, Nia Shuangshuang's Bar. Chapter 801, Nia Shuangshuang's Bar leaving the Ning family mansion. Yi Mo now knew the whereabouts of the fishtails. Although he had never heard of that Xiang Ninja Dojo, he had to go there for the 2 fishtails. Yi Mo bought a big case and filled it up with USD. He was going to give this case to Ningyang. To Yi Mo, it was like waste paper, but to Ningyang it would mean the possibility to start his own business. Yi Mo sent his spirit sense out, and as he was nearly at the tertiary stage of stage 8, his spirit sense was near 22 kilometers. Hence, he immediately found where Ningyang lived. He didn't think that being a part of the Ning family, he wouldn't even have a home in Beijing. He was staying at a hotel. Yi Mo arrived in front of Ningyang's room, and as soon as he came to the door, he heard an argument going on inside. I was really blind to have fallen in love with someone like you. Why can't we be in Beijing? Are you not a seed of the Ning family? You're a man. Yet you let us live in a hotel. We don't even have a home. Go out, get out. A hurtful woman's voice sounded. Chi-Chi, listen. We're leaving Beijing straight for Luoyu. We can settle there. Is Luoyu not better than Beijing? Ning Yang's voice was weak. He clearly felt that he was truly useless. The woman, he called Chi-Chi, stopped pushing Ning Yang and sniffed. Go to Luoyu then. All you know is to go to Luoyu. You sold our house in Beijing to go to Luoyu, but in the end, we didn't even get to stay, and now we don't have a place to live anymore. We could only stay at my parents' house in Ninghai, but now you still want to go to Luoyu. Mom, stop arguing with Dad. I still have tens of thousands of pocket money, and Dad is speaking the truth that we can go to Luoyu. The uncle said we can, Ninglan said weakly. She had always lived a wealthy life and had enough pocket money. She didn't think the family was in such a destitute situation. Chi-Chi seemed to have lost her energy and just sat by the bed sniffing. Ning Yang sighed. Chi-Chi, it's real this time, I'm not lying to you. Although we don't have much savings, as long as we go to Luoyu dash, Yi Mo knocked on the door. Ning Yang opened and saw Yi Mo standing at the door with a big case, so he called out in surprise and joy, City Lord Yi, what brings you here? Yi Mo waved his hand and smiled. Brother Ning, just call me by my name. I'm not the city lord right now anyway. Qingxue told me to come visit you. The woman saw Yi Mo and wiped her eyes, standing on the side in embarrassment. Uncle. Ning Lan immediately called out and said to her mom, Mom, he's the uncle who invited us to Luoyu. Yi Mo smiled. Qingxue told me to come help you a bit. Brother Ning, you can take this and go exchange it later. Also give this bracelet to Ninglan. I'll be going already, but I'll come visit you guys at Luoyu. Yi Mo then put the case on the side and gave a defensive bracelet for Ninglan before leaving. He didn't know how to solve their argument, though, so he quickly left. After Yi Mo left, Ningyang reacted and said to the woman unhappily, City Lord Yi came, yet you didn't even pour him a cup of tea. You're too impolite. City Lord Yi? Yi Mo. He's the husband of Sister Qingxue. The woman finally reacted and said in shock. Ningyang said grumpily, Of course it's him. Otherwise, who do you think can let us go settle in Luoyu with just a letter? Why didn't you say so earlier? The woman complained. I have been saying it all this time, but you didn't listen, Ningyang sighed. Chi-Chi seemed to know she had been unreasonable and said awkwardly, Qingxue told him to bring a case. I wonder what it is. She was full of regret. Qingxue's husband had just been there, that legendary city Lord Yi Mo. Yet she had been crying. She didn't even get to see how that Yi Mo looked, whether he was handsome or not. Ninglan ran to the case and opened it. The family was shook. Ninglan didn't know what it was, but the couple knew. It was a case full of dollars. There was at least a few million in it. There were less and less people he knew at Beijing. Yi Mo just visited Han Zixin and chatted with him for a while before leaving the Han family. He was going to go to Jiuming Academy first before then heading to Japan. From Han Zixin, he found out that Tan Jiao never came back after leaving Beijing. Only Luan Qingfeng had remained. He was a peak half-step great heaven cultivator, but couldn't make that final breakthrough. Yi Mo didn't have a bad impression of him. The Beijing city streets looked even busier than before, but Yi Mo felt it was missing something. Drunk-eye bar! Yi Mo exclaimed as he saw it still be there even after more than 10 years had passed. He remembered Nia Shuang. This was the first date he had with her. Of course, he had been there to warn her. Yi Mo subconsciously walked in and found that the layout was exactly the same as all those years ago. How could a bar that never changed earn money? Yi Mo subconsciously walked to the table he sat with Nia Shuang. But before he could sit down, a waiter stopped him. Sorry, sir, this table is not open for seating. Please choose another table, the waiter said. This rule had existed for more than 10 years. The customer in front of him was probably new. Why? Yemo asked strangely. The waiter replied politely, Our president made this rule. This is our president's special seat. It's not open to the public. Yemo was speechless. Who is your president? Yemo subconsciously asked. The president's surname is Nya, the waiter smiled. Nya. Yemo thought of Nya Shuangshuang. Was it her? That was impossible. Would she really open up a bar at Beijing? But Yemo thought it really might be possible. Thinking about this, Yemo asked, Is your president Nya Shuangshuang? The waiter looked at Yemo strangely and confirmed, Yes, that is right. It really was her. She had to be an established cultivator already. Why would she open a bar there? Well, I actually know her. Where has she been? I'd like to go see her. Yemo's spirit sense hadn't found Nya Shuangshuang around. The waiter said, Our president hasn't come for a long time, but if you want to see her, you can contact our store manager, sir. You want to find Sister Shuangshuang? Do you know her? A busta-looking woman in her 30s heard the conversation and asked, Yes, I know her. Where is she? Yemo nodded. The woman studied Yemo and said, She has left Beijing for 5 years already. But if you really know her, come with me. This woman was only above average looking, but she was quite sexy. When she walked, her ass shook in a special rhythm. Yemo, however, just glanced at it and looked away. The woman took Yemo to the office and studied Yemo for a while and said, If you only know to stare at my ass, I really hope you're not the man Sister Shuangshuang talked about. You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.